Chapter 21-25. The few of them didn't have time to think about how Qin Fen was fine despite being in the black fog. They immediately grabbed Sheng Zhongtian and escaped to the periphery of the quicksand river. Even though they were thousands of meters away from the quicksand river, Hong Ming and the rest could still clearly sense the powerful aura of those ghosts. That aura was like a rotting corpse. It was filled with death and despair and was devouring everyone's consciousness bit by bit. City Lord Sheng, have you found the immortal stone array? At that moment, numerous figures rushed over from all directions. Wang Lu Zhongming was the first to land. He looked at the unconscious Sheng Zhongtian and asked anxiously, "What happened to City Lord Sheng?" Hong Ming said, "City Lord Sheng used his domain forcefully. I'm afraid his spiritual consciousness was damaged, and he fainted." Another few figures landed beside everyone. They were the Almighties from the other two teams. However, the number of people in those two teams had obviously decreased. It seemed like they had died while searching for the immortal stone array. There had been more than 20 Almighties who had come. Now, only 13 of them were left standing in the black sand. After Hong Ming explained the current situation, Wang Lu Zhongming and the rest looked solemn. They had thought that the West Sea continent was saved. They hadn't expected that it had all been a fantasy. The figure in the black fog is young hero Qin. He's already dead? Nie Yuan looked at the black chi whirlpool above the quicksand river in shock. Young hero Qin isn't dead. He flew out from under the quicksand river. Those powerful ghosts don't seem to be able to hurt him, the West Sea Trade Association's vice president said. Everyone was shocked. They couldn't understand what was happening. The soul cultivators in the quicksand river were extremely powerful. Their spiritual consciousness attacks made the group of true-form Almighties not dare to go near them. How could Qin Fen survive being surrounded by thousands of soul cultivators? No one could figure out how Qin Fen had done it. However, what happened next shocked the Almighties even more. An intense magnetic field seemed to surge from Qin Fen's body, forming a distorted space. The soul cultivators in that space started to turn illusory. Cracks appeared on the human-shaped black fog, and their bodies were split into countless pieces. The fragments began to fuse chaotically and finally turned into a large mass of black fog. The newly formed black fog slowly rotated in the distorted magnetic field, forming a second black fog vortex. One whirlpool of black fog was spinning in the middle of the quicksand river, covering half of the quicksand river. The other whirlpool of black fog was above the quicksand river, as if stirring up the sky. When these two vortexes connected, they formed an incomparably spectacular scene, like a giant hourglass that connected heaven and earth. "What's that?" Nie Yuan cried out in surprise. "It seems to be the venue where young swordsman Qin performed his skills." Wang Lu Zhongming's tone was uncertain. Young hero Qin is able to comprehend the existence of the arena at such a young age. There's no one else like him in the entire West Sea continent. It's a pity that things don't bode well for him this time. I wonder if he can survive? I keep feeling that young hero Qin's field is a little different. He has clearly comprehended the field of small success. But why is the magnetic field of his field so strong? Only after Dark North Demon Sovereign asked this question did everyone realize the problem. Everyone present was a peak disaster transformation stage and true form realm mighty figures. They had long comprehended the existence of the field of small success. Some of them had even comprehended the field of small success. However, everyone quickly discovered the uniqueness of Qin Fen's field. The magnetic field of his field of small success was abnormally strong, even surpassing the field of small success. These powerful mighty figures also knew that using the field of small success consumed a lot of divine sense. With their current level of cultivation, they could barely support the field of small success. They were completely unable to use the field to its fullest potential. But Qin Fen had done it. He was only a first-stage disaster transformation stage, but he was able to control the field of small success to the point of perfection. His divine sense seemed endless. Even Wang Lu Zhongming and the others couldn't understand it. At that moment, all the mighty figures present had an epiphany. They seemed to have rediscovered the true meaning of field field, and field. Perhaps the so-called field of small success was only what they thought it was. In front of a true, godly venerable, they might not even be able to touch the edge of the field. For example, Qin Fun was only at the initial level of mastery in the field, but the magnetic field he was able to create was far stronger than anyone else's field. Even humanoid soul cultivators with incredibly powerful divine sense were affected by the field. Only Qin Fun knew that he wasn't disrupting the soul cultivators. He was killing them. The angelic soul chant circulated rapidly. Qin Fun's divine sense seemed to solidify. With a thought, countless divine sense blades slashed out, slicing the soul cultivators in the field of small success into pieces. The pieces had already lost their consciousness. They began to spin and merge like air, slowly forming a black mist whirlpool in the air. Qin Fun was getting more and more ferocious. His divine sense attacks filled the air. The soul cultivators that came out of the quicksand river were instantly killed. Some of them didn't even know how they died before they even got to the surface. After the powerful soul cultivators died, they transformed into black crystals that fell onto the riverbank. Qin Fun was no stranger to soul crystals like this. Back on the 8th floor of the 13 palaces, he had killed a half-human soul cultivator and acquired more than 3,000 of them. Compared to the soul crystals in the 13 palaces, the soul crystals in the quicksand river were even more perfect. Each soul crystal was the size of a goose egg, and they glowed with a black, agate-like luster. Qin Fun immediately began to absorb the soul crystals. These soul crystals contained the powerful divine sense of a soul cultivator, and were the best resource to improve the strength of one's divine sense. An hour later, a loud sound came from the sky. It was the sound of Qin Fun's sea of consciousness breaking through. Wang Liashongming and the others didn't know what was going on, and they all looked worried. Not good. Young hero Qin seems to have exploded. It's not just his physical body exploding. His divine sense seems to have exploded as well. No matter how powerful young hero Qin is, no matter how many tricks he has up his sleeve, no one can survive a place like the quicksand river. This time, everyone didn't have any hope. Even Hong Ming let out a long sigh. A cloud of black fog floated over. A second ago, it was in the sky, but when they opened their eyes, it was as if it was right above their heads. The black fog covered the sky, and it was even denser than the 2 black fog vortexes above the quicksand river. A strong aura of death enveloped the entire quicksand river. Ayaya, which daring person is absorbing this king's resources? Do you believe that this king won't turn you into a ghost? You'll never be able to reincarnate like those soul cultivators. A strange cry came from the black fog. Wang Liashongming exclaimed, "That's the voice of the Dead Sea Ghost King." Everyone was shocked. They couldn't understand why the Ghost King had suddenly appeared. Actually, the Ghost King had appeared once when they first entered the quicksand river. But now, everyone understood that the Ghost King was just a divine sense clone. It was similar to the soul cultivators in the quicksand river. Since the Ghost King had used that clone to force everyone into the quicksand river, it meant that he didn't intend to do it himself. He wanted everyone to die in the quicksand river. But the black fog floating in the sky was obviously the Ghost King's real body. His arrival surprised everyone. Something even more unexpected happened. After the Ghost King appeared, he didn't care about Nie Yuan and the others. He directly took out a black gas and rushed into the black fog vortex in the sky. Qin Fun immediately felt danger approaching. He casually sent out a palm in an attempt to block the Ghost King's black gas attack. However, the ferocious True Essence palm imprint passed through the black fog. It was as if the black fog didn't exist. Rumble. The True Essence palm imprint exploded in the sky, and it felt like the sky was shaking. At the same time, the black fog collided with Qin Fun's body. There wasn't a violent movement as expected, but only Qin Fun could hear a violent sound coming from his divine sense. Qin Fun's expression changed drastically. The opponent had used a divine sense attack. But what he was shocked about was not the divine sense attack itself, but the Ghost King's divine sense had reached a shocking level. The Ghost King's divine sense had condensed into a substance, and it was the black fog that he had brought with him. Qin Fen hadn't been killed in one blow. The Ghost King's voice was filled with doubt. Huh? You and Ant didn't die? Qin Fen understood the Ghost King's current mood. With the powerful divine sense attack of the Ghost King's attack, even a true form realm mighty figure would be killed instantly if they underestimated the enemy. Qin Fen was only at the early stage disaster transformation realm. In the Ghost King's eyes, he was even weaker than an ant. Originally, Qin Fen had planned to kill the powerful soul cultivators in the Quicksand River and then absorb the soul crystals to break through to the divine sense sea. After the Ghost King appeared, he completely dispelled this idea. The souls in the Quicksand River were obviously raised by the Ghost King. Qin Fen was blatantly devouring his resources. This was no different from courting death. Just as Qin Fen was about to rush to the bottom of the Quicksand River and continue searching for the immortal stone array, an old voice sounded. It's really lively here. Qin Fen, I really have to thank you. The person's voice was still echoing in the sky, but his figure was already floating above the Quicksand River. Countless black shadows jumped out of the Quicksand River and tried to invade the person's body. But before they could get close to the person, the human-shaped black fog distorted and eventually disappeared. Who is this person? He seems to know young hero Qin. Wang, Lu Zhongming, and the others were stunned. Although they couldn't see the person's face clearly, the person's aura was extremely powerful. His cultivation level was obviously higher than everyone else's. Hongming suddenly exclaimed, Senior He? This person doesn't have to hate Senior He. The crowd was stunned. Not long ago, Qin Fen had mentioned he needed to hate. This mighty figure was the sect leader of the All-Heaven sect, one of the few 9-star sects in the Eastfield continent. He was a god who had shaken the entire divine continent 100 years ago. When Qin Fen mentioned he needed to hate, everyone was still in disbelief. Now that they saw Senior He standing above the Quicksand River as if he was having fun, they had no choice but to accept the truth. Senior He, why are you here? Qin Fen's expression changed as he suddenly thought of a possibility. He needed to hate smiled. You're right. I deliberately told you the new location of the immortal stone array so that you could help me find it. Once I find it, I'll come and take some resources. This is what I've been doing ever since I came out of the cave abode in the Violet Cloud Mountains. Chapter 21-26. Qin Fen suddenly realized that he had been used. This feeling made him very uncomfortable. You want to take away the immortal stones in the formation? Qin Fen asked. He Shuhen did not hide anything. That's right. Not only do I want to take away the immortal stones, but I also want to take away the devouring celestial bug. You could have sneaked into the Quicksand River without anyone noticing. Why did you show yourself? Why did you tell them? Qin Fen did not understand. He Shuhen laughed. Because of the spirits here. Who wouldn't be tempted by these spirits with powerful consciousness? I can use them to nurture the devouring celestial bug. Qin Fen's expression changed. He knew that He Shuhen had a gourd treasure that could take away the devouring celestial bug. The devouring celestial bug was already extremely powerful. If it absorbed the spirits in the Quicksand River, the consequences would be unimaginable. At this moment, several balls of black mist rushed towards He Shuhen. Ghost King's strange laughter came from the Quicksand River. Hee, another ignorant ant. The spirits in the Quicksand River are nurtured by me. Since when is it your turn to enjoy them? Ghost King did not recognize He Shuhen and did not take him seriously at all. However, when the balls of black mist surrounded He Shuhen slapped lightly. The black mist around him immediately dissipated. At the same time, a giant vital essence hand fell and slapped Ghost King's head. Rumble. The power of that palm shocked everyone. It was as if 5 thunders had struck. Ghost King's black mist dissipated. One could even vaguely see his figure. He must have been seriously injured by that palm. He let out a strange cry of pain. Quicksand River suddenly boiled. Thousands of spirits turned into black mist and rushed out. They quickly gathered around Ghost King. The sky was completely covered. Not even a trace of light could be reflected. What a powerful vital essence attack. Senior He must have stepped into the true God realm. Not just true God. He must have reached the peak of true God. He is only one step away from the celestial realm. Don't celebrate too early. We don't know if this senior he is a friend or foe. Hong Ming and the rest were shocked by He Xiuhen's power. However, Qin Fen did not think that the palm was a vital essence attack. It was a divine sense attack. He. An ant like you dares to behave atrociously in the quicksand river of the Dead Sea? No matter what realm you're at, you'll only die here. As the Ghost King's voice floated out, the thick black mist around him was like water ripples. He Xiuhen's expression was indifferent. Another palm struck out. The handprint blotted out the sky and covered the earth. It seemed to be an incomparably powerful true essence attack, but in fact, it was a handprint attack condensed from a formidable divine sense. There was a loud explosion. When the spiritual sense giant hand touched the black fog in the sky, it was like a flame burning on gasoline, instantly exploding up and down. Shrill cries could be heard coming from the sky above Quicksand River. Those cries were transmitted through a powerful divine consciousness. Even ultimate gods like Hong Ming felt uncomfortable and uneasy. Ayaya, who are you? Why are you going against the ghost cultivators of the Dead Sea? After 2 short exchanges, the Ghost King had already realized that there was no need for hatred to be powerful. The Dead Sea was the world of ghost cultivators. The Ghost King believed that he was an invincible existence in the Dead Sea. Even if Hong Ming and the other true form mighty figures joined forces, they would still suffer heavy casualties. However, the Ghost King had no way to deal with He Xiuhen. He even felt the threat of death. He had forgotten how long it had been since he had felt that way. It was extremely unfamiliar and extremely terrifying. You don't deserve to know my name. I don't have time to deal with you either. I advise you to get lost immediately. Otherwise, I don't mind killing a piece of trash like you first. He Xiuhen's cold voice reverberated through the sky. The spirits in the black mist let out angry cries. It was probably the first time they had been threatened by someone. The Ghost King was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. How dare someone call him a piece of trash? When He Xiuhen said those harsh words, He Xiuhen no longer cared about the Ghost King and the wandering spirits in the sky. He flipped his hand, and an exquisite little gourd appeared in it. It was the first time the ultimate gods of Snowfield City had seen such a Dharma treasure. They were confused. However, Qin Fen, Hong Ming, and the others' expressions changed drastically. Senior He, what are you doing? Qin Fen cried out involuntarily. He had already guessed He Xiuhen's intentions. However, the latter didn't reply at all. When the seal on the gourd was opened, a gust of black qi surged out. The black qi was different from the black mist above Quicksand River. It formed a contrast between the 2 colors. When the black qi flew out from the gourd, it instantly pounced on the spirits in the sky. Not good. Those are devouring celestial insects. Everyone, leave this place quickly. Qin Fen hurriedly reminded Wang, Lu Zhongming, and the others. However, the cultivators of Snowfield City were still in a daze. Or rather, they wanted to personally witness the power of the devouring celestial insects. The sky was quickly covered by the devouring celestial insects. The screams of the spirits could be heard. The devouring celestial insects could devour almost anything. Powerful divine senses were their top-notch devouring resources. Ah! What kind of damned insects are these? Stop right now. The Ghost King was so angry that he screamed when he saw the spirits that he had nurtured for many years being devoured in an instant. He Xiuhen acted as if he didn't hear him. When he released all the devouring celestial insect from the gourd, he jumped into Quicksand River. The crowd was shocked. In the eyes of Wang, Lu Zhongming, and the others, Quicksand River was a place of certain death. Even they, who were at the periphery, felt immense pressure. They didn't dare to imagine what would happen if they entered Quicksand River. However, before they could completely calm down from their shock, they saw Qin Fen jump into Quicksand River. His voice came from the sky. Senior Hong Ming, quickly bring everyone away from here. I will think of a way to repair the celestial stone array. When his voice reverberated in everyone's mind, Qin Fen was long gone. This time, even the Ghost King was stunned. He thought that he was the only person in the entire West Sea continent who dared to enter Quicksand River. He didn't expect that 2 more people would appear today. TSK, TSK, TSK. You 2 ants who don't know the difference between life and death. You actually dared to enter the Quicksand River. This time, even if the gods descended to the mortal world, they won't be able to save you. A moment later, the Ghost King laughed maniacally. The black fog around his body surged like a surging tsunami. The black fog fell from the sky into Quicksand River. It was as if the Milky Way had fallen from the 9 heavens. When Qin Fun entered Quicksand River again, he immediately felt that the situation was not good. Although there had been divine sense attacks from the Quicksand River before, the number of divine sense attacks couldn't compare to the number of divine sense attacks. Qin Fun felt that the billions of divine sense nurtured by the Quicksand River were surging towards him. The aura seemed to be able to destroy the world. Buzz. Qin Fun no longer had any thoughts of chasing after why need hate. He immediately activated the soul homecoming technique and the creation of heaven and earth technique. At the same time, he also put on the life immortal armor. A white barrier appeared around his body. This was the light emitted by the life immortal armor. This white light was like a lighthouse in the middle of the night. It felt like it would be swallowed by the darkness at any time, but it still emitted a faint light. When the soul homecoming technique was activated, Qin Fun's thoughts moved slightly. Several divine sense blades slashed out. The Black River was sliced into a vacuum. Wherever the divine sense passed through, the divine sense instantly dissipated. It was only now that Qin Fun realized the true nature of Quicksand River. This wasn't a river, but a place formed by billions of divine sense. The river water that everyone saw flowing with the naked, I was actually the aura of divine sense drifting about. After the truth was revealed, Qin Fun had a clearer idea of how to enter the Quicksand River. All he needed to do was kill all the divine sense in front of him and open a bloody path. He started to crazily throw out divine sense attacks. Miserable screams resounded in his ears. The divine sense that was killed turned into black soul crystals and was immediately absorbed by Qin Fun. This was a virtuous cycle. Qin Fun's sea of divine sense was constantly nourished by the soul crystals. He felt like he would never get tired. Unknowingly, his divine sense attacks became several times stronger. Rumble. Half a day later, a loud sound echoed in Qin Fun's mind. His sea of divine sense improved again. At the same time, the soul homecoming technique also underwent a great change. When he felt the divine sense attacks again, Qin Fun suddenly discovered that the divine sense blade had already condensed into a long saber. It even had saber chi. Moreover, the saber chi extended for hundreds of meters. When the saber slashed down, countless divine sense was instantly annihilated. This was a battle without true essence attacks. However, it was much more ferocious than a collision of true essence. When Qin Fun's divine sense was activated, the divine sense blades were annihilated. The color of Quicksand River has faded. Wang Lu Zhongming and the others didn't leave. They stood on a black mountain peak several miles away and looked into the distance. It really seems to have faded. What's going on? I understand. There's no water in Quicksand River. The Black River we see is actually formed by divine sense. Now, the sky above Quicksand River is occupied by countless celestial devouring insects. They're devouring divine sense crazily. That's why the color of Quicksand River has faded, Hong Ming analyzed. Everyone pondered for a moment and nodded in agreement. Wang Lu Zhongming said, "If that's the case, we can also enter Quicksand River. I wonder if young hero Qin survived? Let's go and take a look now." Hong Ming was extremely anxious and prepared to fly over. However, Shang Zhongtian stopped her. "Everyone, don't be anxious. We definitely have to go down a Quicksand River to take a look. However, the sky above Quicksand River is occupied by celestial devouring insects. With our cultivation levels, we'll just be sending ourselves to death if we go." Although the threat of the divine sense blades was gradually weakening, Hong Ming forgot about the danger of the celestial devouring insects. After Shang Zhongtian's reminder, Hong Ming immediately dismissed the idea of rushing over. Not long ago, he had personally witnessed the terror of the celestial devouring insects at the Demon Peak. These insects had almost devoured the entire Demon Peak. Fortunately, He Shuhan had collected them with his gourd. At that moment, Qin Fen's thoughts surged. He suddenly comprehended a new realm. First, he used the field to bind the escaping divine sense blades. At the same time, he used divine sense blades to kill them. Through this process, Qin Fen realized that he could set up various formations in the area affected by the field. He could even set up divine sense blades. Once the formation was formed, the divine sense blades could be preserved. Every time he used the field, the divine sense blades would automatically activate. With this idea, Qin Fen immediately set up a simple sword formation in the field. Moreover, the so-called sword techniques were all divine sense blades. Chapter 21-27. Whoosh! The sword formation was formed, and in an instant, countless sword shadows flew out in the field. Those sword shadows were not real swords or sabers, but attacks formed by divine sense. The spiritual sense sword technique fell like raindrops, and as long as the Yin souls were shrouded in the field, they would instantly turn into ashes. The color of Quicksand River has lightened again. It feels like those ghosts are about to be exterminated. What a powerful magnetic field. What's up with that rain of swords? That should be a battlefield. Can he use a battlefield to kill Yin souls? Could that person be young hero Qin? That's not a field, it's a domain. Shang Zhongtian stared at the sword rain in the distance, his eyes filled with shock. Everyone's expression changed drastically. City Lord Shang, are you joking? Did that person use a domain? Moreover, you can easily control domains? That person should be Senior He. It's not strange for Senior He to be able to use domain. No, that's young hero Qin. Qin Fen couldn't hear the crowd's discussion, so he didn't know that he had unknowingly comprehended a domain. Qin Feng looked at the rain of swords, and a white light flashed in his mind. He thought of the god's finger sex godly skill, 9 pulse godly sword. 9 meridians godly sword, 10,000 swords become 1. Sword formation forms domain, outer realm flight. When Qin Feng challenged Sword Peak, he obtained a 9 pulse godly sword and gave it to Ah Ke. Now that Qin Feng thought about the heart of the sword technique, he was suddenly enlightened. So, I've already comprehended the existence of domains. Qin Fen sighed inwardly. However, I still haven't mastered the 9 pulse godly sword technique. When I mastered it, flying in outer space should be referring to flying into the immortal world. When Qin Feng first obtained the 9 pulse godly sword secret manual, because his cultivation level was too low, he was unable to comprehend the profound meaning of the Heart Sutra. Now that he read it again, he was completely enlightened. The sword domain was formed, and killing intent was everywhere. The ghosts in the Quicksand River no longer had a place to hide. Like lonely ghosts exposed to the light, they instantly disappeared in the rain of swords. The Sand River, which was originally shrouded in black fog, gradually became clear. Qin Fen's silhouette could be faintly seen. Hong Ming and the others completely confirmed his identity. That's really young hero Qin. Didn't he just comprehend the initial success? Why did you suddenly come into contact with the existence of a domain? Everyone was in disbelief. Qin Feng had created too many miracles. Shang Zhongtian's eyes shone brightly. He looked into the distance and sighed. There are many extraordinary people on the path of cultivation. I thought I was already a peerless genius, but compared to young hero Qin, I'm just a useless cultivator. Not only has young hero Qin touched the edge of the domain, but he can even use his powerful divine sense to control the domain. He's far above me. His words shocked the crowd even more. Earlier, Shang Zhongtian had been forced to unleash his domain. Although he had managed to kill a large number of soul cultivators, his sea of consciousness had been seriously injured, and he had fallen unconscious. Now that he was able to use Qin Fen's domain freely, it meant that Qin Fen's spirit sense was stronger than his. Qin Fen was only at the disaster transformation stage. How could his spirit sense surpass that of a truth form mighty being? It didn't take long for everyone to feel relieved. He couldn't treat Qin Feng like an ordinary cultivator. He was a peerless genius, and there might not be a second person like him in the entire Divine Supreme continent. Under the frenzied slaughter of the Sword Domain, the spirits in the Quicksand River weakened rapidly. The original appearance of the river gradually appeared, and it was no different from the surrounding black sand. Suddenly, a thick cloud of fog fell from the sky, heading straight for Qin Fun. You human ant, how dare you destroy the spirits I've painstakingly nurtured for so many years? Today, I will refine you into a spirit and let you have a taste of your own medicine. The Ghost King had appeared again because he had no other choice. After witnessing He Xuan's power, he had immediately fled. But now that Qin Fun had killed almost all the spirits in the Quicksand River, if he didn't come out now, all his efforts would have been in vain. Noisy. Before the black fog fell to the ground, Qin Fun pointed at the sky. Several beams of sword chi shot out. He had an epiphany on the 9-pulse divine sword. The sword chi was also condensed from his divine sense, and it instantly broke through the black fog, heading straight for the sky. The Ghost King was still charging at Qin Fun when suddenly there was a loud noise. Rumble. The black fog in the sky exploded and quickly dissipated. The figure hidden in the black fog finally appeared. Under the black robe was a skinny body with almost no flesh and black skin stuck to the skeleton. His facial features were distorted, and his eyeballs were hanging in his eye sockets as if they would fall out at any time. How? How is this possible? The Ghost King was so shocked that he didn't even care about the explosion of the black fog around him. You're just an early-stage disaster transformation cultivator. How can your divine sense be so strong? The Ghost King asked the question that everyone had in their hearts. Qin Fun didn't bother to answer. He activated his mind, and the sword domain instantly spread to the space where the Ghost King was standing. Instantly, the sword chi rained down, poking the Ghost King into a hornet's nest. Bang! A loud explosion sounded. The Ghost King's body exploded, and thick black fog floated out of his body, covering the sky in an instant. There was a black ball of light hidden in the black fog, and it quickly escaped. Even if one looked closely, it would be hard to notice. Want to leave? I think you should just die. Qin Fun's voice resounded. The sword domain had already spread for dozens of miles. When the sword rain appeared, the Ghost King's soul completely disappeared from the Divine Supreme mainland. A strange aura floated on the endless Quicksand River. Wang, Lu Zhoming, and the others' eyeballs almost fell to the ground. Young hero Qin killed the Ghost King of the Dead Sea. The Ghost King should really be dead. I can't feel a trace of his aura for dozens of miles. In fact, the Ghost King's cultivation wasn't high, but his divine sense was extremely strong. He specifically cultivated and devoured souls to strengthen his divine sense. Since Qin Fun could control the sword domain, it was obvious that his divine sense was also very strong. It was reasonable that he could kill the Ghost King. Shang Zhongtian analyzed. While they were discussing intensely, Qin Fun had already jumped into the Quicksand River. Now that there were not many souls left in the Quicksand River, the Black River became shallow and did not pose any threat to Qin Fun. With a palm strike, a crack appeared in the river. The crack was so deep that one could not see the bottom. Dozens of black fog leaped out from it. This was obviously a soul cultivator, and he was stronger than the human-shaped soul cultivators in the Quicksand River. However, strength was relative. The strength of their divine sense was worlds apart from Qin Fun's. With just a few divine sense blades, the soul cultivators who wanted to attack Qin Fun were instantly killed. Qin Fun did not even have time to collect the soul crystals. He immediately jumped into the crack, wanting to find the immortal stone formation as soon as possible. The underground was pitch black and gloomy, and the strange screams of the soul cultivators could be heard. This sound was actually a type of divine sense attack. If low-level cultivators heard it, they would most likely be affected. However, it did not affect Qin Fun at all. Whenever a soul cultivator flew close, Qin Fun would use his divine sense to kill them. After falling for the time it took for an incense stick to burn, Qin Fun finally felt the ground under his feet. He immediately looked around. The environment under the quicksand river was similar to the surface. It was also a vast expanse of black sand. Senior He, what are you doing? Qin Fen quickly scanned He Xiuhin with his divine sense and immediately flew over on his sword. He Xiuhin had probably subdued the celestial devouring insects in the Spirit Pith Pond and was now attacking the immortal stone formation. You'd better mind your own business, kid. Otherwise, I won't care if you're a tribulation taker or not. I'll kill you with one palm strike, all the same. He Xiuhin had no intention of stopping. Qin Fen was already angry about being used as a pawn. Now that He Xiuhin wanted to break the new immortal stone formation, he didn't hesitate to use his divine sense blade. There was a shadow of the blade, but no movement could be heard. Or rather, the movement of the divine sense attack was in the mind and could only be detected through divine sense. Qin Fen's blade was incomparably fierce, and it hit He Xiuhin instantly. He Xiuhin felt his divine sense tremble, and a look of disbelief appeared on his face. He even stopped his attack. Sword Domain, you're an early-stage disaster transformation cultivator, and you've comprehended a domain? He Xiuhin looked at Qin Fen in disbelief. Even he was surprised. Qin Fen didn't have time to explain. Seeing that the attack of the domain seemed to be effective, he immediately used his domain to envelop He Xiuhin. Swish! 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 The sword domain formed, and a rain of swords flew. The sword shadows contained both true essence and divine sense attacks. However, He Xiuhin stood within Qin Fen's domain, not retreating at all. His expression was as calm as ever. When the sword chi was about to land on him, a powerful magnetic field surged out from his body, flooding Qin Fen's domain like a tsunami. The two domains collided fiercely, like two seas merging, and thousands of huge waves were stirred up. After a fierce battle, Qin Fen's domain began to gradually disappear, and he couldn't even use his sword skills. What's going on? Qin Fen had just comprehended a domain, and he didn't understand what was going on. He Xiuhin sneered. Kid, your domain hasn't even reached initial success. You can only fuse other attacks into your domain. If you hadn't absorbed a large number of soul crystals to improve your sea of divine sense, I'm afraid you wouldn't even be able to touch the existence of a domain. He Xiuhin understood what Qin Fen's domain was, and his previous shock disappeared. Qin Fen tried to attack again, but to no avail. He yelled at He Xiuhin, Senior He, why do you want to break the new immortal stone array? He Xiuhin's attacks were fierce, and the immortal stone array was on the verge of collapse. I want the immortal stones in the compass, so I have to break this array. Qin Fen said angrily, You don't care about the destruction of the entire West Sea continent for your own benefit. You're too selfish. Ha! Selfish? The Divine Supreme Continent is a place where the strong are respected. Who isn't selfish? Moreover, the 1,000-year tribulation is coming. According to my prediction, this tribulation is related to the immortal stone array in front of us. It should be the heaven-sealing tribulation. If I don't ascend to the immortal realm soon, I'll never be able to step into the immortal realm. Qin Fen couldn't agree with He Xiuhin. He didn't care about the lives of billions of cultivators in the West Sea continent to ascend to the immortal realm. But he could understand He Xiuhin's feelings. For a peak expert like him, his life goal was to ascend to the immortal realm. To achieve this goal, there was nothing he couldn't do. Chapter 21-28. He Xiuhin continued, Moreover, when I ascend to the celestial realm, I will seek revenge on the bastards who set up the celestial stone formation. This can also be considered as helping the cultivators of the divine continent. Qin Feng said in shock, You know who set up the immortal stone formation? Who else could it be? Isn't it the Kobe faction of the Dongya continent? In order to rule over the divine continent, they set up the celestial stone great spell formation hundreds of years ago. They wanted to make the divine continent's spiritual energy so scarce that it would not be able to meet the requirements of the fairy realm. Then, they would be able to conquer this continent, Shisu said angrily. Chu Fan's note in the Nine Heavens Snow Domain mentioned the secret of the Kobe clan. Now that He Xiuhin mentioned the Kobe clan, he was sure of the truth. Why is the Kobe Gate doing this? Could it be that they don't even allow their disciples to become fairies? Qin Feng was confused. He Xuan laughed coldly. Hee hee, you are too naive. If a sect wants to be strong forever, they must constantly train new disciples. The Kobe faction will not give up on their descendants. Their base is not affected by the immortal stone grand formation. It is the only place on the divine continent where people can ascend to immortality normally. A normal fairy? Qin Feng asked. Then if I am not a normal fairy, do I have to tear through the void and enter the fairy world? That's right, but how many people in the entire divine continent are capable of tearing through the void? Shisu said hatefully. If that's the case, didn't the great Tao ultimate God also tear space and leave the divine world? Could it be that the great immortal stone array already existed at that time? But senior great Tao divinity should be an almighty from thousands of years ago, right? Qin Fen had new doubts. A great path ultimate God is different. He's a peerless ultimate God and the one who triggered the thunder tribulation. He's hindered by the heavenly way and has to tear the space apart to become a deity, said Isu hatefully. Qin Fen was speechless. Doesn't that mean I have to tear the void to become a celestial? An ordinary celestial ascendant is just a low-grade existence in the celestial world. Those who can tear open the void and ascend are also almighty existences in the celestial world. What you should do now is to quickly raise your cultivation level and not waste any more time here. He didn't want to talk to Qin Feng anymore, so he continued to attack the celestial stone formation. Qin Feng knew that he couldn't stop He Su Hen, so he could only watch He Su Hen's actions. 2 hours later, a loud sound came from underground, and the sky and earth shook violently. Cracks appeared on the immortal stone compass, and in the end, it exploded into ruins. 108 immortal stones fell, and were all taken away by He Xuan. Tribulation brat, I'll make a move first. With these immortal stones, I have a 50% chance of ascending to the immortal realm. He Xuan's voice was still echoing in the sky, but he had already disappeared. After a while, Qin Fen also flew out of the ground. When he returned to the sky above Quicksand River, he discovered that the outside world had changed greatly. Cracks appeared in the black sky, forming countless small black holes. Those black holes had merged with the black fog and were hard to distinguish with the naked eye. However, when he used his divine sense to scan them, he found that there were many places that he could not even see the end of. Several figures flew over. Hong Ming shouted in surprise. Young hero Qin, is that really you? You're actually fine? Hong Ming wasn't the only one who was in disbelief. The rest of the Almighties were also in disbelief. From the moment that Qin Fen had jumped into the bottom of Quicksand River, everyone had given up hope that he would survive. Later, cracks had appeared in the sky above the Dead Sea, which meant that the immortal stone array had failed to repair itself. Everyone had thought that Qin Fen had died. Senior Hong Ming, the immortal stone array was destroyed by He Xuan. Qin Fen immediately explained the situation. Everyone was shocked. Senior, he destroyed the immortal stone array? Why would he do that? Hong Ming didn't understand. There are many immortal stones in the compass of the immortal stone array. He Xuan took those immortal stones in preparation for ascension, Qin Fen said. Senior, he has indeed reached the peak of the true form realm. He is only one step away from ascension. For the sake of his own strength, he did not hesitate to cause the cultivators of the entire divine continent to fall into a disaster. How can such a person be called a senior? Now that the immortal stone array has been destroyed again, is there no hope for the West Sea continent? All their efforts had been in vain. At that moment, everyone's feelings were imaginable. Qin Fen hadn't expected such an outcome. Actually, from the moment He Xuan had appeared on the Demon Peak, everything had been within his calculations. Everyone was just his chess piece. When He Xuan left, tell me that the new immortal stone array base will appear in the East Sea Continent's Kobe sect, Qin Fen said. The East Sea Continent's Kobe sect? That is one of the top sects of the divine continent. Are we going to attack the East Sea Continent? Attacking the East Sea Continent is definitely not realistic. Although we have already entered the top ranks of cultivators in the West Sea Continent, I am afraid that we are only considered above average in the East Sea continent. Don't even mention a 9-star sect like the Kobe sect. I am afraid that any elder of an 8-star sect would be able to destroy all of us. Sheng Zhongtian shook his head and sighed. Their last glimmer of hope had been destroyed. Everyone was completely out of ideas. Qin Fen said, now that things have come to this, we can only accept reality and find other countermeasures as soon as possible. I think everyone should return Charm City and Snowfield City to take a look. I wonder what the situation is over there. Everyone had no other choice but to leave with Qin Fen. When they flew out of the Dead Sea, the sky finally became bright again. However, the sky above the West Sea continent was no longer the same as before. It was filled with cracks and black holes of all sizes. The suction of those black holes was extremely strong. Even Qin Fen and the others only dared to walk on the ground. They did not choose to fly on their swords. The situation is more serious than we thought. Hong Ming let out a long sigh. Sheng Zhongtian frowned and said, it seems like the West Sea continent's fate has come. It needs to experience destruction before it can be reborn. I wonder what the situation is like in the other 3 continents. Will it be the same as the West Sea continent? At the same time, the cultivators of the West Sea continent were in a panic. Cracks appeared in the sky of Snowfield City, Charm City, the Dead Sea, and the Misty Valley. What's going on? Could it be the power of a true form Almighty? No matter how powerful a true form Almighty is, he can't make cracks appear in the entire void. I heard that the Millennium Tribulation is coming. Could it be this heavenly tribulation? The West Sea continent is going to be destroyed. Everyone, hurry up and escape to the other continents. All sorts of rumors spread. The people of the West Sea continent were in a state of panic, forming a huge migration wave. However, a few days later, someone discovered the secret of the black holes in the sky. There was an array door in these black holes. A cultivator had accidentally entered the array door and been teleported to an unknown place. Later, more and more cultivators gathered at the array door and tried to pass through it. After all, staying in the West Sea continent would only mean death. Going to the other continents was easier said than done. This array door that had appeared out of nowhere was a glimmer of hope. When he heard the news, Qin Fen immediately led Hong Ming and the others to the array door. The array door was hidden in a group of black holes. If that cultivator had not been lucky enough to enter the array door by mistake, no one would have discovered the existence of this teleportation array. Young hero Qin, can you see where this array door is going? Sheng Zhongtian asked. He Qianjin and Nie Yuan were also there. These 2 big bosses of array formations from Snowfield City and Charm City stared at the sky, but they could not see through the secret of the teleportation array. Qin Fen threw out several array flags and outlined the outline of the array door. The array aura was ancient and familiar, which made Qin Fen's heart flutter. It's actually an intercontinent teleportation array. Qin Fen exclaimed. Everyone's expression changed drastically. Intercontinent teleportation array? Which continent is it going to? Hong Ming blurted out. Qin Fen shook his head. He could not tell. However, back then, he had entered the Snowfield Sacred Land through the teleportation array above the Purple Cloud Mountains. Could it be that this void teleportation array door was going back to the North Sand Continent? If it was really going to the North Sand Continent, Qin Fen could not help but worry. With the current cultivation level of the North Sand Continent, it was impossible for them to go against the cultivators of the West Sea Continent. However, he did not dare to step into the array door directly. If this array door was not going to the North Sand Continent, but to the East Field Continent, it would be troublesome. I don't know where it is going. It might be going to the North Sand Continent. Back then, I was teleported to Snowfield City through the void teleportation array door, Qin Fen said honestly. If it's an array door that leads to the North Sand Continent, then things will be easy. Hong Ming revealed a surprised expression. The others also saw a glimmer of hope. This was because Qin Fen was from the North Sand Continent. With his cultivation level, he was definitely standing at the peak of the North Sand Continent. If they followed Qin Fen to the North Sand Continent, they would not have to worry about being suppressed. However, it could also lead to the South Flat Continent or the East Field Continent. Qin Fan dampened their hopes. The few powerful cultivators started discussing. No matter where this array door is going, it is the last hope of the West Sea Continent. If we continue to stay here, we will die, Wang Lu Zhoming said. It's fine if it leads to the North Sand Continent or the South Flat Continent. I'm just afraid that it will be teleported to the East Field Continent. Should we enter the array together or teleport separately? It was a difficult choice. If they entered the array door, it would be equivalent to giving up on all their efforts in the West Sea Continent. However, if they did not leave, what awaited them would be death. I won't leave first. Since this teleportation array has appeared, I believe that there will be other changes in a few days. Hong Ming was the first to express her opinion. Nie Yuan sighed. This array door appeared out of thin air, and it might also disappear out of thin air. If we don't leave as soon as possible, when the array door disappears, we won't be able to leave even if we want to. After thinking for a moment, Nie Yuan leaped forward. Everyone, I'll go scout first. When you guys arrive, remember to look for me. With Nie Yuan leading the way, another 6 powerful cultivators entered the array door. In the end, Qin Fan chose to stay behind. If he wanted to return to the North Sand Continent, he could fly back through the Fallen God Sea. However, the array door in front of him was unknown. Qin Fan did not want to take this risk. Sheng Zhongtian and Wang Lu Zhoming also stayed behind. Dark North Demon Marshal did not leave either. Firstly, they were unwilling to leave the West Sea Continent. Secondly, they felt that following Qin Fan's decision would give them a greater sense of security. Another half a month passed. The sky above the West Sea Continent did not show any signs of slowing down. The cracks in the sky became even denser, but the teleportation array door was still there. Qin Fan could not wait any longer. He planned to leave the West Sea Continent first, then drive the flying cloud cone back to the North Sand Continent. However, just as he made his decision, the long-awaited system's voice rang out in his mind. Ding! System upgrade complete. The new Hedonist Sovereign System interface has been updated. The Sovereign Star system has officially been activated. Chapter 21-29. The system upgrade was complete. Qin Fan was incredibly excited. A few months ago, he had risen from a rank 9 Hedonist Mortal to a rank 1 Immortal Hedonist Celestial. Afterwards, the system had entered a state of upgrading, and now the upgrade was complete. When Qin Fan entered the system, he was dumbfounded by the scene before him. The original system interface had fused into one, and it was like a massive memory within his mind. The newly unlocked Sovereign Star system was an information carrier that stored all of the system's memories within. Qin Fan found that after the fused interface, the information wasn't a single one. Instead, it was split into countless dots of light. Each dot of white light was a database of information from the Hedonist Sovereign System, and they were all stored in the Sovereign Star system. They were like stars in a dark galaxy. Little Pig, what's going on? Qin Fan didn't understand. Little Pig quickly explained. Master, right now, the Hedonist Sovereign System is a type of inheritance, or you can treat it as a top-notch secret technique. Inheritance? Secret technique? Qin Fan had a look of disbelief on his face. According to what you're saying, I can give the system to anyone? Little Pig replied, Master can think of it that way, but the essence isn't like that. Master can give the system's database, but you can't give the real Hedonist Sovereign System. How can I give the database away? What use would it be even if I gave it away? Qin Fan didn't understand. Master, originally, the Hedonist Sovereign System's database couldn't be given away, and even if it was given away, it wouldn't be of any use to the recipient. However, with the Sovereign Star system, the situation is completely different. The Sovereign Star system is an empty shell of the system, and as long as you put in a different database, it can become a different system. As such, if Master gives away the Hedonist Sovereign System's database and the Sovereign Star system, the recipient will have the Hedonist Sovereign System, Little Pig explained. Qin Fan hurriedly asked, Is there a limit to the number of times I can give away the database and the Sovereign Star system? There's no limit. then doesn't that mean that anyone I give it to will become as powerful as me? Qin Feng felt that this was inconceivable. Little Pig replied, "It's not what Master thinks. Master only gave you the system's information library, and the information that Master has already obtained cannot be shared. Simply put, Master only gave you the initial Hedonist sovereign system, and everything else still depends on the recipient's own hard work." Qin Feng completely understood that the upgraded Hedonist sovereign system was more like a secret manual, which could be passed down to anyone. Those who received the system's inheritance would be like him when he first received the system. They would need to continuously complete quests and slowly grow. Even so, Qin Feng was still shocked by the system's inheritance function. If he passed the system to all of his friends and family, after a few decades, what kind of powerful battle team would be formed? Qin Feng thought of Chu Fan's words, the Kobe clan of the Dongye continent, the #1 clan of the Divine continent. Their cultivation techniques and inheritance are mysterious, causing them to grow stronger day by day. Qin Feng was starting to suspect that the Kobe Sentinel's mysterious technique inheritance was the system. Because of the system's sudden upgrade, Qin Feng was not in a hurry to leave the West Sea continent. He found Hong Ming and the other powerhouses and gave them the system's information. After receiving the Hedonist sovereign system, everyone was unable to calm down for a long time. They finally understood why Qin Feng was able to create miracles time and time again. It was because he had such a heaven-defying cultivation technique. To Hong Ming and the others, their understanding of the Hedonist sovereign system was like a top-notch secret manual. The creator of this secret manual was meticulous and had actually planned out every step of cultivation. Furthermore, through the distribution of missions, cultivators would be able to speed up their cultivation. Young hero Qin, where did you get this secret manual? Hong Ming was incredibly curious. The other powerhouses also had the same question. Qin Feng stood in the Tower of Light and looked at the black holes in the sky with a heavy heart. I found this secret manual by chance in an ancient cave dwelling. If it wasn't for the 1,000-year calamity, I wouldn't have shared it with everyone. Now that all of you have received the inheritance of the cultivation technique, I hope that all of you can increase your cultivation as soon as possible so that you can lend me a hand in resolving this calamity. After giving out the system, Qin Feng suddenly understood something. The tribulation takers he had been looking for were the people who had been given the system. Hong Ming, Sheng Zhongtian, Wang Liashongming, and the others had all become tribulation takers. After settling the matters in the West Sea continent, Qin Feng set off again. In the end, he did not pass through the array door in the sky above Snowfield City. Instead, he left the West Sea continent and flew to the North Sand continent through the Fallen God Sea. When the flying cloud all sped through the sky above the Fallen God Sea, Qin Feng realized that there were no spatial cracks in the sky above the West Sea continent. He guessed that the appearance of the black hole was related to the location where the Celestial Stone Formation had been destroyed. Back then, the Celestial Stone Formation had appeared in the Purple Cloud Mountains, and the compass had been damaged. As a result, a black hole had appeared in the sky above the Purple Cloud Mountains. After the Celestial Stone Formation had been repaired, the spatial cracks had automatically disappeared. Then, the Celestial Stone Formation had been destroyed in Demonic City and the Dead Sea. As a result, the sky above the West Sea continent had completely fallen. When he crossed the Fallen God Sea for the second time, the situation was very different from the previous time. The previous time, Qin Feng had flown from the South Flat Continent to the North Sand Continent. Along the way, he had almost lost his life because of the threat from the Nanming Palace of Green Island. Then, he had met with trouble in Deep Sea City. However, this time, he had flown the flying cloud all across the entire sea region without any threat. 3 months later, Qin Feng arrived at the North Sand continent safely. He had been gone for close to a year. When he stepped into the territory of the North Sand continent again, Qin Feng even suspected that he had come to the wrong place. The original cultivation wastelands was now filled with spiritual qi. In fact, it was almost as dense as the spiritual qi in the South Flat Continent. Soon, Qin Feng found a reason. Back then, before he left the North Sand Continent, He had mobilized all the cultivators in the continent to build a spirit-gathering formation and spirit source. After a short year, the effects were so obvious. Wow, that flying magic treasure is so fast. It's like a meteor streaking across the sky. That's City Lord Qin's flying device. City Lord Qin is back. Before Qin Feng landed, the news had already spread outside the Spirit Immortal City. Instantly, countless cultivators gathered outside the Spirit Immortal City, waiting for the flying cloud all to land. Qin Feng, you're really back. All the women gathered at the city gates. When they saw Qin Feng jump down from the flying cloud, they felt like they were dreaming. It seemed like a year had passed in the blink of an eye. However, many changes had happened during this period of time. Zhao Ling Xian and the other women's cultivation had improved greatly. They had all risen by an entire major realm. Lu Jie, Yun Zhe, and the others had also improved greatly. Even the North Sand Continent cultivators standing outside the city gates had risen by a level. Chapter 2130. Back in the North Sand Continent, Hollow God Realm cultivators were already at the peak. Experts like Barefoot Enlightened Being were rare. But now, Qinfen found that there were more than 10 Hollow God Realm cultivators standing outside the city gates. They were all faces he didn't recognize. After greeting the crowd, Qinfen entered the Spirit Immortal City. He called the women and Lu Jie and the others into a room and planned to give them the Sovereign Star System. Boss, where have you been this past year? Not long after you left, the black hole above the purple cloud mountains disappeared. If only you had left a few days later. Lu Jie was very excited to see Qin Fen and didn't stop talking. Qin Fen didn't tell them the secret. The black hole above the purple cloud mountains didn't disappear by coincidence. It was because he went to the West Sea Continent to set up the sky ceiling formation. I went to the West Sea Continent. Because the spirit Qi there is dense, I stayed and cultivated for a year. Qin Fen was very concise. He didn't mention anything about the Nine Heavens Snow region or the Demon City battle. He didn't want everyone to worry. Boss, so you want to cultivate. What realm are you at now? Lu Jie was full of anticipation. Actually, ever since the spiritual Qi in the North Sand region had been improved, everyone's cultivation level had been increasing rapidly. They were even a little hopeful that Qin Fen's breakthrough speed over the past year might not be as fast as theirs. That way, everyone would be able to catch up to Qin Fen's cultivation speed. I didn't improve much. I just reached disaster transformation state level 1. Qin Fen sighed. Dozens of pairs of eyes fell to the ground. Lu Jie exclaimed, "Damn, boss, there's no point in showing off like this. You were only body condensation state when you left. You reached disaster transformation state in a year?" Qin Fen wasn't showing off. He was a man with the Hedonist sovereign system, so it was normal for him to break through quickly. To be honest, he felt that the biggest gain from this trip to the West Sea Continent wasn't the increase in realm. It was the Ice Heart Flame and the Sword Domain he comprehended. "There's a reason why my realm increased so quickly," Qin Fen said. "What is it?" Lin Bei Bei was curious. "It's because I've obtained a top-notch cultivation technique. As long as I cultivate according to it, my cultivation level will soar." Since Qin Feng wanted to give the Hedonist sovereign system to everyone, he naturally had to find an explanation. In actuality, everyone present had joined the Heroes Alliance, but they knew very little about the Hedonist sovereign system. If Qin Feng really wanted to explain it, it would take a lot of time and effort. As such, Qin Feng didn't bring up the Hedonist sovereign system and just said it was a type of cultivation technique. After everyone obtained the system and used it, they would understand. "Boss, so it turns out that you've been hiding a top-notch cultivation technique all this time. You're too unkind to only share it now," Lu Jie grumbled. Qin Fen smiled and didn't explain. Then, he used his powerful divine sense to transmit the supreme star system into everyone's minds. 1 month later, everyone was already familiar with the supreme star system. They started to do quests like crazy, trying to catch up to Qin Feng. Seeing that the North Sand Continent was at peace and developing better and better, Qin Feng relaxed. He once again embarked on his journey to the fallen God Sea secret realm. A few years ago, when he first entered the fallen god sea secret realm, he discovered the secret realm's herb garden and the terrifying black fog. Now that he thought about it, the black fog was most likely the devouring celestial insects. A few days later, the soaring cloud all appeared in the sky outside the fallen god sea. When he arrived here again, Qin Feng was filled with emotions. When he first came here, he had just become a saint king. He had even gone to Pear Continent to participate in the Red Flower List examination. Then, he met Shui Junfei and Fan Yiming. In the end, he was chased by Long Out Yin and almost lost his life on the soaring Dragon Chamber of Commerce's airship. Qin Feng had already landed the soaring cloud all. He found many cultivators gathered on the island in the fallen god sea. There was also a huge airship parked next to the island. The name of the Black Radiance Chamber of Commerce was written on it. Qin Feng immediately realized that it was time to explore the fallen god sea again. The cultivators in front of him were so similar to him back then. "Senior Sister Ru'er, there's an array entrance here." A cry came from the crowd. Immediately, hundreds of figures flew over. Among them was a beautiful figure wearing a purple robe. The purple robe girl was beautiful, like a fairy that had walked out of a painting. When Qin Feng's gaze fell on her face, he immediately recognized her. She was the genius female disciple of the Square Tower, Su Ru'er. Qin Feng couldn't help but feel a little awkward meeting Su Ru'er here. He still remembered that Su Xuanfei had tried to matchmake him with Su Ru'er, but he had rejected him. This should be the array entrance that leads to the fallen god island mystic realm, Su Ru'er said after observing the array entrance for a while. At this moment, a handsome man wearing a white robe walked to Su Ru'er's side and said, "Senior Sister Ru'er is right. This is the array entrance that leads to the fallen god island mystic realm." Su Ru'er was a disciple of an alchemy sect. When she speculated that the array entrance was the passage to the fallen god island mystic realm, the crowd didn't have much of a reaction. However, when the white-robed man said this, the crowd became excited. Young hero Xiao Yu is the eldest disciple of the Northern Sand Continent's newly promoted 5-star array sect, the Sky Array sect. Since he said that the array entrance leads to the fallen god island mystic realm, it can't be wrong. Ever since City Lord Qin appeared, the North Sand region has changed with each passing day. In these few years, many top powers have fallen, and countless small powers have risen up. This Heaven Array sect is one of the powers that have risen up. How enviable. I heard that Xiao Yu pursued Su Ru'er some time ago. I wonder if the two of them are together now. Some of the discussions fell into Xiao Yu's ears. He revealed a proud expression and said, "Fellow Taoists, don't be anxious. I have a way to crack the array entrance of this mystic realm. That's right, Senior Sister Ru'er, why don't we form a team and explore this mystic realm? I heard that there are many hidden array entrances in this mystic realm. I can help Senior Sister Ru'er find them." Many people looked at Su Ru'er with envy. Even in the rapidly developing Northern Sand Continent, there were very few array sections. To be able to receive an invitation from a disciple of the Sky Array sect was something that everyone wished for. However, Su Ru'er's expression was cold, and she said calmly, "Four-Way Tower will be exploring alone this time. We won't form a team with any forces." Such a great opportunity was rejected by Su Ru'er, causing the crowd to sigh. Xiao Yu's expression turned cold, but he quickly regained his smile and said, "In that case, I won't force you. Fellow Taoists, please wait for a moment. Let me and my junior brothers break the array." The crowd retreated and waited. The 4 disciples of the Sky Array sect assisted Xiao Yu in breaking the array. An hour later, Xiao Yu suddenly threw out dozens of array flags. At the same time, he shouted, "The array entrance has been temporarily opened. I will continue to hold the array entrance. Everyone, quickly go in." Chapter 21:31. The crowd was overjoyed. Instantly, tens of cultivators entered the formation door. When the rest came back to their senses, they followed. Qin Feng originally wanted to stop everyone from entering the fallen god sea secret realm, because the black mist inside might be devouring bugs. With these cultivator states, they would die if they went in. But these people were too enthusiastic. When Qianfen came back to his senses, more than half of the cultivators had already entered the formation door. He gave up on the idea of stopping them. Qianfen leaped into the teleportation tunnel. When he had first entered the Godfall Sea's Mystic Realms teleportation array formation, he had felt dizzy. But now that he had passed through this teleportation tunnel again, he didn't feel anything. Soon, all the cultivators outside the formation door entered the secret realm. At this moment, a few black figures flew over and landed next to Heaven Formation sect disciple Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu greets the elders. One of the black-robed old men waved his hand. His chi was strong and stable. He had reached the true form realm. If this old man was in the North Sand Continent, he would scare the cultivators there to death. You did well. Keep tricking more cultivators into entering the secret realm, the old man said. Xiaoyu was overwhelmed by the favor and nodded her head like a chick pecking at grains. Junior will not dare to neglect the matters entrusted to me by the elders. The few of them nodded satisfactorily and disappeared into the distance. Xiaoyu and the 4 Heaven Formation sect disciples waited for a long while before they breathed a sigh of relief. Big Martial Brother, who are those people? The junior brother asked. Xiaoyu glared at him and reprimanded in a low voice. Don't talk about the elders' identities. Just remember that they are the real, powerful beings of the Divine Supreme Continent. The real, powerful beings of the Divine Supreme Continent. The 4 junior brothers didn't dare to say anything else. They knew that the North Sand Continent's cultivation level was the lowest among the 4 continents. Any powerful being from any other continent could sweep the entire North Sand Continent. Actually, even Xiaoyu could not figure out the identities of those people. However, he knew that once he hugged onto their coattails, the Sky Array sect would rise rapidly sooner or later. It was all thanks to the help of those mysterious people that the Sky Array sect was able to grow from an inconspicuous small sect to the number 1 5-star sect in the Northern Sand region in just 1 year. Humph! Suruer, you shameless bitch. This is what you get for rejecting me. Xiaoyu suddenly looked in the direction of the array door with a murderous look in her eyes. In fact, he had helped those mysterious people in the Fallen God Sea Mystic Realm last year. His mission was to lure the adventuring cultivators into the Mystic Realm. However, none of the cultivators that he had seen enter the Mystic Realm came out alive. After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, Qin Feng found a landing spot. His gaze swept across the surroundings quickly. The Fallen God Sea Mystic Realm hadn't changed much. However, he still remembered that the ground he was standing on was once a holy land for an herb garden. However, the herbs in the garden had long been taken away by him. After those cultivators came in, they went crazy and formed their own teams to search for treasures. Qianfen was very familiar with this mystic realm. He stepped on his flying sword and arrived at a river area. This river was a spirit vein. A few years ago, when he came to explore the mystic realm, many cultivators found this spirit vein and sat beside it to cultivate and break through. Later on, the disciples of the Eastfield Continent's God Spirit Mountain appeared and occupied the entire spirit vein, not allowing cultivators from other sects to come close. After so many years, the spirit chi in the river was still very dense. Qianfen guessed that there was at least a high-grade spirit vein hidden under the river. Moreover, that spirit vein was still there and hadn't been dug away. A high-grade spirit vein was still here after so many years. Qianfen felt it was strange that a high-grade spirit vein was still here after so many years. After all, there were countless cultivators who came to explore the Fallen God Sea every year. Could it be that no mighty figure had discovered the existence of this spirit vein? However, at this moment, a layer of faint black mist floated up from the river surface. If one didn't look carefully, it would be hard to notice. However, Qianfen didn't even need to look with his naked eyes. The moment the black mist appeared, he sensed a familiar aura. It really is the devouring celestial insect. Qianfen exclaimed at his heart. Some cultivators who were cultivating by the river also noticed the abnormality. Where did the black mist come from? Oh no, I heard that there is a devouring black mist in the fallen god island mystic realm. If you see it, you should run for your life immediately. Is this the devouring black mist? Are we that unlucky? The crowd was in an uproar. Some timid cultivators had already left the river and stood on the empty ground hundreds of meters away to observe the situation. There was also a group of Buddhist light and true spirit realm cultivators who were indifferent. Although they had heard about the devouring black mist in the fallen god island mystic realm, they didn't take it seriously. Look at their cowardly faces. They want to cultivate and become immortals with this little courage. I think they can forget about entering the void god realm. Ignore them. The spiritual energy in this river is very dense. It is a holy land for cultivation and breakthroughs. The fewer people who come to cultivate, the more spiritual energy we can absorb. There seems to be something in the black mist. My arm is gone. Where's my leg? Someone cried out in shock, scaring the other cultivators. Before they could look, they were already trapped by the devouring celestial insects. Those flying insects came out of nowhere and instantly devoured the cultivators by the river. When the black mist floated to other places, there was no one left on the empty ground. Monster! There are monsters in the mystic realm. Looks like the legend of the devouring black mist is true. Even Buddhist light and true spirit realm cultivators were devoured instantly. This black mist is too terrifying. Run. Everyone run for your lives. The crowd was in an uproar. The cultivators who were watching from afar immediately ran. But it was too late when they realized the power of the devouring celestial insects. These flying insects were extremely fast and instantly devoured a few more cultivators. At this moment, a figure flew towards the black mist. Some cultivators were dumbfounded. Is that person crazy? Why is he running towards the black mist? I think that young cultivator looks familiar. That's City Lord Qin. City Lord Qin also came to the fallen god island mystic realm. When someone recognized Qin Fun, the news spread quickly. The cultivators who were running suddenly stopped and even forgot about the danger of death. After Qin Fun flew into the black mist, he activated his domain with a thought. Immediately, the magnetic field above the entire river fluctuated violently. In the end, it formed a small crack. The crack was caused by the sword Qi breaking through the domain. However, because Qin Fun's current cultivation level was too low, the crack in the collapse space was only as thick as a thumb. But just like that, the spectacular scene in front of them shocked everyone. The terrifying, devouring black mist jumped into the crack and disappeared without a trace. The sky returned to its original blue. Some devouring celestial insects woke up and tried to escape from Qin Fun's domain. That person really is City Lord Qin. Looks like the rumors were true. After not seeing him for more than a year, City Lord Qin's cultivation has increased by leaps and bounds again. He can even deal with this terrifying black mist. City Lord Qin appeared. We're saved. Because of the formation of the domain, the magnetic field of the entire fallen god island mystic realm fluctuated. Many cultivators rushed over from afar and were all stunned by the magnificent scene above the river. When Square Tower's Su Ru landed, she felt as if she had been struck by lightning. She stared blankly at Qin Fun, who was hovering in the sky. She felt as if she had not seen him for a century. This guy really came back. Su Ru muttered to herself. Many memories of her with Qin Fun appeared in her mind. The two of them had participated in the Elixir Conference together and protected the Square Tower against external enemies. Later, her master, Su Xuanfei, had tried to matchmake them, but Qin Fun had rejected her before she could reject him. At that time, Su Ru was a genius female disciple of the Square Tower, one of the 4 great pill stores. She had become a golden core master at a young age and was also an outstanding martial artist. Many genius disciples of 5-star sect had expressed their love for her, but she had rejected all of them. Su Ru had hated Qin Fun for a period of time. She felt that this man was too full of himself. But then, Qin Fun's actions had shocked the entire northern Sandland. He had triggered an unprecedented war in the northern sand continent and attracted many immortal venerables. Then, he had escaped to the South Flat continent to cultivate. When he returned, he had single-handedly repelled the Beast Tide disaster. He had reshuffled the top forces in the northern sand continent and destroyed many arrogant families and forces. He had stepped onto the peak of martial arts in the northern sand continent and even mobilized all the cultivators in the continent to create spiritual energy in the northern sand continent. Now, he had even achieved remarkable results. Suru recalled what her master, Su Xuanfei, had said when Qin Fun had rejected her. Now, looking at Qin Fun, who was still safe and sound in the black mist, Suru finally understood her master's words. It was not Qin Fun who had the upper hand in their marriage, but Suru who had the upper hand. Everyone, leave this place quickly. This black mist is formed by the devouring celestial insects. The devouring celestial insects are the #1 spirit insect in the divine continent. There's almost nothing they can't devour. Qin Fun's voice came from the sky. The crowd was startled awake. Although these cultivators could not come into contact with the devouring celestial insects and had never even heard of them, they knew about the divine continent spirit insects ranking list. Since the devouring celestial insects were ranked #1, it was enough to show how terrifying this flying insect was. Many people had already left. Suru stood rooted to the ground. When she saw Qin Fun again, she realized that the gap between them was getting bigger and bigger. When they first met, whether it was in terms of alchemy or martial arts, she was slightly higher than Qin Fun. If Suru had been playing around all these years, it would have been fine. She had been cultivating day and night, studying alchemy, so why was there such a big gap between her and Qin Fun? Suru was very unwilling. Seeing that most of the cultivators had left, Qin Fun leaped and jumped into the riverbed. Since spiritual energy floated up from the bottom of the river and the black mist surged out from the river, Qin Fun guessed that there must be something special at the bottom of the river. Qin Fun, what are you doing? Suru came to her senses and looked at the river in disbelief. She knew about the devouring celestial insects. They were the legendary insects that flew from the immortal world. No matter how powerful Qin Fun was, he could not jump into the riverbed. However, it was too late to say anything now. Qin Fun was long gone, and no matter how she shouted, he could not hear her. Swoosh! In a moment of desperation, Suru also jumped into the river. Chapter 21:32. The river in the secret realm of the fallen god sea was not as ferocious as the quicksand river in the Dead Sea. Although countless black mists shrouded them the moment they fell into the water, the celestial devouring insects here had not matured yet, so they were not as terrifying as the insects in the first Demon Mountain. Qin Fun immediately deployed his sword domain. When the sword chi surged, the magnetic field in the domain fluctuated violently, forming tiny cracks. A large number of celestial devouring insects strayed into the cracks and disappeared without a trace. The bottom of the river was not deep. After the time it took for half an incense stick to burn, Qin Fun landed on the ground. At first glance, he saw the spirit vein hidden underground. Previously, Qin Fun had guessed that there was at least a high-grade spirit vein at the bottom of the river. Now he realized that it was a half-supreme grade spirit vein. The immortal stone formation was built above the spirit vein, but there was only the formation platform and the 9 spirit crystal pillars. There was no immortal stone compass. Qin Fun guessed that there should be several bases of the immortal stone formation on the 4 continents of the divine supreme continent. Whenever the compass of the immortal stone formation was attacked, the compass would automatically move to another base. Without saying a word, Qin Fun put away the 4 phoenix flowers and then used his domain to drive away all the celestial devouring insects in the 4 spirit quintessence pawns. Only then did he put the spirit quintessence pawns into his astral space. After that, he planned to take away the half-supreme grade spirit vein. However, when he used his divine sense, he found that all the celestial devouring insects had flown into the spirit vein. If he put the spirit vein into his astral world under such circumstances, the astral world that had been built for many years would be completely devoured. However, Qin did not want to give up such a good spirit vein. After thinking about it, he simply sat cross-legged beside the spirit vein and planned to absorb it on the spot to break through to the next realm. The first 3 parts of the creation of heaven and earth art were activated at the same time. Qin immediately felt as if there was a wild force surging in his body. He put on the immortal life armor, and a strong life qi gushed out of it. He felt as if he had gone to another world. When the level 8 spirit gathering formation was formed, a huge vortex appeared with Qin as the center. The vortex expanded rapidly, and after half an hour, it covered the entire lake. Spiritual qi automatically condensed and surged out from the bottom of the lake, forming a magnificent scene of dozens of dragons emerging from the sea. Qin sat cross-legged in the center of the vortex, and the dragons of spiritual qi eventually poured into his body. Rumble. A few hours later, Qin's body rumbled as he stepped into Disaster Transformation Stage 2. However, he had only used 1/5 of that half-supreme grade spirit vein, and the surging spirit qi continued to pour in, filling up Qin's empty body in no time. Time flew by. A beautiful figure landed beside the spirit vein and was immediately shocked by the spectacular scene in front of her. The person who had arrived was the genius female disciple of the Four-Corner Tower, Suruer. She had actually arrived at the bottom of the river a long time ago, but she had been chased by the devouring celestial bug all the way. She had only managed to find Qin after much difficulty. At this moment, Qin was about to break through again. The astronomical phenomenon above his head changed drastically, triggering the sure-kill lightning tribulation. When the ferocious sea of lightning exploded beside him, he sat motionlessly in the spirit vein as if nothing had happened. It was as if he was bathing in the lightning rain. Suruer was completely dumbfounded. Only now did she truly understand the huge difference between her and Qin. The sea of lightning in front of her was comparable to the attack of a true form expert. Even though Suruer had never seen a true form expert attack before, she could feel that if she went near the sea of lightning, she would be instantly turned into ashes. After watching for a while, Suruer realized that the lightning tribulation had no effect on Qin, which made her relax. As for the subtle change in her emotions, even she did not notice it. When she came back to her senses, Suruer realized another problem. Even the devouring celestial insect did not dare to get close to Qin. Suruer sat cross-legged outside the sea of lightning, feeling the dense spirit qi around her. This was the densest spirit qi she had ever encountered in her life. 3 days later, Qin successfully avoided the tribulation and stepped into Disaster Transformation Stage 3. Suruer also benefited from Qin and stepped into True Spirit Stage 5. 10 days later, Qin broke through to Disaster Transformation Stage 4, while Suruer was still struggling at the bottleneck of True Spirit Stage 5. Half a month later, Suruer finally stepped into True Spirit Stage 6, while Qin found the opportunity to break through to Disaster Transformation Stage 5. However, at this crucial moment, the two of them stopped cultivating. It turned out that the spirit qi in the half-supreme grade spirit vein had been sucked dry by the two of them. True Spirit Stage 6? I actually broke through to True Spirit Stage 6 in just half a month. Suruer revealed a look of disbelief after she came back to her senses. Qin had been too focused in his seclusion, so he only noticed Suruer now. "Why are you here?" Suruer looked at Qin, who was floating above the spirit vein. A destructive aura surged out of his body, making it hard for Suruer to breathe. What realm are you at now?" Suruer quickly asked. Qin withdrew his aura and said with a smile, "Disaster Transformation Stage 4, just a little bit away from Disaster Transformation Stage 5. Actually, Disaster Transformation Stage 4 or Stage 5 did not mean much to Qin. In the late stages of cultivation, a cultivator's cultivation technique and foundation were very important. If the early stages of cultivation had a good foundation and had an earth grade or above cultivation technique as a support, it would be a piece of cake to kill someone of a higher realm. Suruer was stunned. She was unfamiliar with the term disaster transformation and only reacted after thinking about it for a while. In the past, the Northern Sand Continent's Nihility God realm had reached the peak and was listed as a celestial venerable. Even though the Northern Sand Continent spirit Shi had greatly improved over the past year, and many Nihility God realm experts had appeared, and there were even rumors that some people had reached body condensation, they were still insignificant in front of a disaster transformation divine venerable. Are you sure you've reached disaster transformation? Do you know what disaster transformation is? Suru was in disbelief. Qinfen understood her feelings and said with a smile, "Of course I know what disaster transformation is. Above Nihility God, there's body condensation and cauldron filling. After cauldron filling is disaster transformation, and after that, there's true form and true God. Once you reach true God completion, you'll have the chance to become a celestial." Qinfen did understand the cultivation levels on the Divine Supreme Continent, and this made Suru even more shocked. Therefore, Qinfen's claim that he had reached disaster transformation was not a rumor or ignorance. However, when Qinfen left the Northern Sand Continent, he had just reached true spirit realm. When he returned in triumph, it was rumored that he was already a body condensation realm expert. This time, he had only gone to West Sea Continent for a year, and he had already reached disaster transformation. How did you do it? Suru could not understand. Qinfen thought about it seriously for a while, and finally threw a supreme star system in a Suruer's sea of consciousness. I relied on this top-grade cultivation technique to break through realms so quickly. Since we've met again, it can be considered fate. I'll pass this cultivation technique to you. With your talent and diligence, I believe you'll soon reach disaster transformation or even higher realms, Qinfen said. Chapter 21:33. Suruer immediately felt a huge amount of information surging into her brain, almost bursting her brain. But before she had the time to check the content of the message, several black shadows flew over from afar. Grand Elder Gucheng, there are indeed people causing trouble in Green Lake. Not good. All the spirit chi in Green Lake has been absorbed. Aya, where did these ants come from? Come out and die. 6 people flew over. 5 of them had powerful auras. They were disaster, transformation state, and truth realization state powerful beings. The voices of the 5 mighty figures were still reverberating in the distant sky, but their figures had already landed in the sky above the river. One of the black-robed elders slapped down from the sky, and the river water surged as a huge crack was blasted open. The crack went from the surface of the river to the bottom. When Qinfen and Suru looked up, it looked like a hole had appeared above the river. The 5 immediately jumped into the river, and their surging cultivation essence surrounded Qinfen and Suru. Who are these people? I can't see through their realms. Suru was shocked. She had reached true spirit realm 6 not long ago, and could even see through the cultivation of hollow spirit state powerful beings. Were these people all at body condensation state? A group of disaster transformation state cultivators and a truth realization state. They don't look like they're from the Northern Sand State, Qinfen said honestly. Suruer's eyes widened. This was the first time she had seen so many powerful beings gathered. Were you 2 ants the ones who took up Green Lake's resources? The old man who had cracked the riverbed with a palm asked. Qinfen realized that the spirit vein in the fallen god ocean's secret realm was called Green Lake. Since they knew the name of Green Lake, it was very likely that they were the ones who kept the spirit vein here. Not the 2 of us. I used up the spirit vein alone. Qinfen stood up. The old man was slightly dazed. This was because Qinfen was only at Nihility God Stage Level 1. Normally, an ant like him would kneel and beg for mercy if they saw him. How could they be as calm as Qinfen? You're from a Northern Sand State? The old man frowned. He didn't expect such a young, hollow spirit state cultivator to appear in the Northern Sand State. That's right. You used the Green Lake spiritual vein to break through to the virtual god realm. You can think of it that way. In any case, I've already used up the spirit vein. If you want to make a move, then hurry up. Qin Feng's attitude was unyielding. The elders were at a loss. They could not see through Qin Feng's thoughts at all. This was the first time they had met a cultivator who was seeking death. At this moment, another figure flew over. This person had come with the 5 experts, but he was only in the true spirit realm and was left far behind by the 5 of them. Elders, I'm late. The young man cupped his fist towards the 5 elders as soon as he landed. No one paid any attention to him. Suru, you're not dead yet? The man suddenly looked at Su Ru'er, then looked at Qin Feng out of the corner of his eye. His eyes fell to the ground. Why, your city lord Qin? Why are you so surprised? Do you know these 2 people? The old man who slapped the riverbed away revealed an unhappy expression. The young man who rushed over was the eldest disciple of the Sky Formation sect, Xiao Yu. He did not expect Su Ru'er to survive after entering the secret realm for so long. He also did not expect to meet the Northern Sand Continent's #1 ultimate god, Qin Feng, in the secret realm. Elder Hewan. These 2 are cultivators from the Northern Sand Continent. The woman is a female disciple of the Northern Sand Continent's #1 elixir store, Square Tower. The man, Xiao Yu, stopped mid-sentence. Qin Feng's majestic aura could be heard throughout the entire Northern Sandland. The old man called Hewan said angrily, "Don't stammer. Just say what you have to say. With the few of us here, what do you have to be afraid of?" Xiao Yu suddenly realized something. No matter how powerful Qin Feng was, he was only the #1 in the Northern Sand Continent. If he was placed in the other 3 continents, he probably wouldn't even be able to make it into the ranks of the top experts. Hewan and the other elders were all disaster transformation experts. How could Qin Feng deal with them? Elder Hewan, that person called Qin Feng is the Northern Sand Continent's #1 cultivator, said Xiao Yu. Hewan and the others were slightly startled. They didn't expect the young man in front of them to be the Northern Sand Continent's supreme martial artist. He didn't look like one at all. Are you sure you got the wrong person? That kid is only an Annihility God Realm level 1. How could he become the Northern Sand Continent's #1 cultivator? No matter how useless the Northern Sand Continent's cultivators are, they shouldn't be this weak, right? Hewan asked. Xiao Yu was puzzled. That can't be right. A year ago, Qin Feng returned to the Northern Sand Continent. At that time, he was already at body condensation realm middle stage. He forced back the beast wave by himself. How could he be at Nihility God Realm level 1? Hewan was startled. He suddenly said angrily, "Little ant, you dare to use a technique to hide your cultivation in front of me? You're asking for death." Boom! As he said this, Hewan struck out with his palm. A giant true yuan palm descended from the void. Just the violent true yuan within the palm was enough to make Su Ru'er and Xiao Yu breathless. However, Qin Feng stood there without any change in his expression. Su Ru'er hurriedly reminded him, but Qin Feng didn't seem to hear her. Boom! There was a loud explosion. A layer of black fog covered the empty space where Qin Feng was standing. The black fog extended into the void and covered Hewan and the others. However, it wasn't the black fog at all. It was the effect of Qin Feng's domain. When the domain appeared, a strong magnetic field blocked Su Ru'er and Xiao Yu's spirit senses. All they could see was a world of chaos. Although they couldn't see, they could hear the explosion in the void. Su Ru'er's eyes flashed. She felt that the explosion wasn't caused by the opponent's true yuan palm. It was even more violent than the palm. Not good. This guy's at true form realm. How dare you sneak attack? Die. Why can't I move? Senior brother Gucheng, save me. This is a domain? You actually comprehended a domain? Chaotic shouts came from the mouths of the few powerful beings. Su Ru'er and Xiao Yu stood there, dumbfounded. They felt that something unbelievable was happening in the sky. Half an hour later, the domain disappeared, and the black fog in the sky dissipated. Qin Feng stood with his hands behind his back. He didn't seem to have moved at all. However, he saw that 4 figures were missing from the other side, leaving only the great elder kneeling by the riverside. How did you do it? Who are you? Gu Cheng was the only true form realm powerful being, but his clothes were torn and he looked battered. He didn't look like a true form realm powerful being at all. You don't have a right to ask me questions. Let me ask you now, who are you? Qin Feng's voice was cold. Suru Er and Xiao Yu woke up with a start, but they immediately fell into a deeper shock, especially Xiao Yu. She knew Gu Cheng's power very well. They were disaster, transformation, and true form powerful beings from the Eastfield continent. How could they be so weak in Qin Feng's hands? Bang! There was a loud explosion. However, only Gu Cheng could hear it. That was because the voice was transmitted through his sea of consciousness. Qin Feng didn't move at all, but the spirit sense attack had already bombarded him from 100 meters away. Gu Cheng only woke up when his spirit sense was injured. You can choose not to answer, or I can choose to destroy your cultivation. Qin Feng's voice was so cold that it sounded like it came from hell. Gu Cheng's last line of defense was completely broken. He was a first-stage true form powerful being, and his spirit sense was already extremely strong. However, he couldn't withstand a single blow from the young man in front of him. I am Gu Cheng from the Eastfield continent. Eastfield continent? Which sect are you from? Qin Feng squinted his eyes. Gu Cheng felt the aura of death and was afraid that Qin Feng would use another mysterious spirit sense attack. He said quickly, Eastfield continent's Kobe sect's disciple. You are a Kobe sect's disciple? Why did you appear in the Fallen God Sea? Qin Feng had been in contact with the Kobe sect's people in matters recently. He had a feeling that a huge battle was about to happen. Gu Cheng had completely given up resisting and said whatever he wanted to say. A few junior brothers and I were ordered by the sect leader to guard an array in the North Sand Continent. Are you talking about the Immortal Stone Array? Qin Feng asked directly. Gu Cheng's expression changed, and he almost screamed. You know about the Immortal Stone Array? Who exactly are you? What's your sect leader's name? And how many formation bases did the Kobe sect set up on the Divine Supreme Continent? Qin Feng had many questions about the Kobe sect. Gu Cheng was even more shocked. The Immortal Stone Array was the Kobe sect's top secret. Only a great elder like him would know about it. Even He Wan and the others who had died not long ago didn't know about it. There was a loud explosion. Qin Feng immediately pulled Suru Er and retreated. Powerful true essence surged around, and the heat wave instantly melted the air into liquid. The explosion lasted for more than 10 minutes. Xiao Yu, the Heaven Formation sect, died tragically. When Qin Feng flew into the aftermath of the explosion again, he found that Gu Cheng was gone. Qin Feng, did that person escape? Suru Er asked. Qin Feng looked around and shook his head. No, he self-destructed his nascent soul and died. What? Didn't that person reach the true form realm? Why did he self-destruct his nascent soul? Suru Er couldn't believe it. Qin Feng could guess what Gu Cheng was thinking. The Immortal Stone Array was very important. If he dared to leak the news, the Kobe sect would not let him go. In other words, not only would the Kobe sect not let him go, but they would also kill all his relatives and friends. Let's not talk about that. Go and organize everyone to leave the mystic realm. There are devouring immortal bugs here. We will die if we stay. Qin Feng didn't intend to tell Suru Er about the Immortal Stone Array. What about you? Don't worry about me. I have my own things to do. Qin Feng had already left on his sword. Suru looked up at the sky. She couldn't calm down for a long time. In just a few years, the difference between her and Qin Feng was like heaven and earth. Suru felt like she was dreaming when she thought about how Qin Feng had killed 5 Tribulation Transformation Stage mighty figures not long ago. Oh, right. Qin Feng gave me a top-notch secret manual. Suru immediately used her spiritual consciousness to search through the huge memory that had appeared before. 1 hour later, she was shocked. This cultivation method was too magical. First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second, Booksellers Mobile. Chapter 21:34. The North Sand region was getting better, and Qin Fe did not have to worry anymore. After giving the supreme star system to everyone, he rushed to the South Flat region. The place Qin Fen really wanted to go to was Spectre City, one of the 8 great danger zones of the South Flat continent. Rumor had it that Spectre City was originally called Spirit Fog City, and it was a holy land for cultivation. However, because of a supreme treasure, a massacre broke out, and countless people died in the city. Qin Fen, on the other hand, had more information. He knew that Spectre City was originally the base of God's One Finger sect. At that time, the founder of God's One Finger, ancestor God Zhu Qing, had built his sect in Spirit Fog City. Then, in order to search for Aku and his junior brother Shin Chi Jun, he traveled around. After that, there was an earth-shattering battle. In the end, God Zhu Qing was defeated and left an immortal weapon in Spectre City. Now, crossing the fallen god sea was a common thing for Qin Fen. A few months later, he safely arrived outside Spectre City in the South Flat region. The city seemed to be shrouded in dark clouds. Even Qin Fen's divine sense could not scan in. The tall and majestic city gate had become dull due to the passage of time. Outside the gate, there were ruins on the ground. It was a desolate and dispirited scene. After looking outside Spectre City for a while, Qin Fen could not see anything. However, he found that even though Spectre City was open to the public, there were not many cultivators coming. This was probably the place with the least number of cultivators exploring the 8 danger zones of the South Flat region. After the time it took for a joss stick to burn, Qin Fen leaped into Spectre City. Ear-piercing screams immediately reached Qin Fen's ears. There seemed to be countless wandering ghosts in the air. Those sounds were clearly divine sense attacks, but they were useless against Qin Fen. When he was in Spectre City, Qin Fen immediately thought of ghosts and ghost cultivators. Could there also be a soul-nurturing formation here? After experiencing the 13 palaces and the 2 Class 9 soul-nurturing formations in the quicksand river of the Dead Sea, Qin Fen no longer had any feelings towards ghost cultivators and ghosts. His current sea of consciousness was extremely powerful, and his soul-returning technique had reached great success. With a thought, he could kill powerful ghosts. Spectre City was bigger than Qin Fen had imagined. He could even imagine how prosperous this city had been in the past. It was a pity that Shen Zhu Qing had died here because of a lowly person. Unknowingly, Qin Fen arrived at a private courtyard. Although many years had passed, the courtyard was still as good as new. Qin Fen didn't know what materials were used to decorate it. The owner of this courtyard had a very distinguished status. Every room was decorated magnificently, and there were traces of high-grade arrays. When Qin Fen opened the door to the innermost room, a thick black fog surged out, and a strong sense of death surged in his heart. Whoosh! Without thinking, Qin Fen immediately unleashed his domain. At the same time, a divine sense blade was formed. It was like a blade that could split a mountain. Qin Fen's expression flickered as he realized that there was no ghostly aura in the black mist, nor was there any green-eyed soul cultivator in the area. What are these things? Qin Fen couldn't understand. Fortunately, the black fog did not pose a threat to him. It even started to flee in fear after encountering domains and spiritual consciousness blades. Meanwhile, 6 figures landed outside the ghost city. They all wore Xing Kuan sect clothing. One of them was Su Wumian, the elder who had tracked Qin Fen and a green crane blade. Su Wumian had already reached body condensation level 2. He was one of the strongest in the entire South Flat state, but his cultivation was at the bottom of the group. Wumian, are you sure someone entered the ghost city? A gray-haired, long-faced elder asked. Su Wumian cupped his fists respectfully and said, Vice sect leader Su Yun, disciple saw someone enter the ghost city with my own eyes. However, that person was too fast, and I didn't see his face clearly. Su Yun looked at a white-haired elder beside her and asked, Senior brother, what do we do now? Not just Su Yun, but everyone's eyes landed on the white-haired elder. This elder was Xing Kuan sect leader Su Kong. He had already reached the peak of body condensation level. Although Xing Kuan sect is the largest smithing sect in South Flat State, we are still only a 6-star sect. In the eyes of those 7-star sects, We are nothing. These years, Xing Kuan sect has sent people to guard the ghost city. When the time is right, they will enter the city and find the legendary immortal weapon. This will give Xing Kuan's sect a chance to become a 7-star sect. Now that someone has gone ahead of us, we can't just wait here. Everyone, follow me into the city. I want to see who dares to steal the treasure that Xing Kuan's sect wants. As soon as she finished speaking, Su Kong had already taken the lead and rushed into Spectre City. The other elders immediately followed behind her. Qin Feng didn't know that Su Wumian and the others had appeared. If he did, he would be looking forward to it. When he had first arrived on the South Flat Plain, he had bought a green crane blade from the Stark Earth Artifact Workshop in the town of Mount Pan and obtained a grade 9 spirit turtle shell. In the end, Su Wumian issued a kill order across the entire city, forcing him to a standstill. Qin Feng had the ability to take revenge a long time ago, but he never found the chance. However, he had to thank Xing Kuan's sect. If he didn't get the level 9 tortoise shell from the green crane blade, he wouldn't have opened the door of life in the 13 palaces and wouldn't have gotten the tree of life. Qin Feng had already walked into the room. Very quickly, he discovered that there was a hidden compartment inside. Underneath the compartment, there was a level 8 concealment array. If Qin Feng wasn't a level 8 array immortal, he wouldn't have discovered this secret. After some observation, Qin Feng realized that the black fog in the room came from the underground of the compartment. In other words, the reason why the entire Spectre City was shrouded in a gray fog was because there was a concealment formation hidden under the compartment. Qin Feng's divine sense couldn't reach the bottom of the ground, as if it was blocked by something. He started to study the structure of the array formation in the compartment. 1 hour later, Qin Feng threw out several array flags, and an array formation model appeared on the ground of the compartment. The array was too old. It didn't even last for half an incense stick's time before it exploded. A huge hole appeared on the ground. Qin Feng's divine sense could go in a little, but it couldn't see far enough. After Qin Feng confirmed that there was no danger underground that could threaten his life, he jumped down. In front of him was a large open space. In the center of the space were 4 spirit marrow ponds, and above the spirit marrow ponds floated 4 bright and glistening phoenix flowers. Great heavenly demon array. Qin Feng's expression changed. He was sure that the array in front of him was the great heavenly demon array, and the great heavenly demon array here had already taken shape. There were 9 spirit crystal pillars around the 4 spirit quintessence ponds. Each pillar had an iron chain that extended into a huge pit in the center of the formation. This is the base of an immortal stone array. Qin Feng was shocked. Actually, this wasn't the first time he saw an immortal stone array. What surprised him wasn't the immortal stone array, but the fact that someone had successfully used the great heavenly demon array here. First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second, Booksellers Mobile. Chapter 2135. Qin Feng finally understood what the black mist was. It wasn't ghost chi, but demonic chi. He seemed to have some understanding of what the Great Sky Demon Array was for. It was an evil technique of devil cultivators. The principle behind it was similar to the soul-nurturing array of ghost cultivators. They were both arrays used to rapidly increase one's cultivation. This great heavenly demon array should have existed for a very long time. That was because the demonic energy within the black mist was very strong. It was also because Qin Feng's current cultivation and divine sense were incomparably powerful that he was able to remain unscathed within the demonic energy. However, if an ordinary cultivator were to enter, they would probably die in an instant. Where did this kid come from? How dare you barge into my cultivation forbidden area? I want you to die a horrible death. A wild roar came from the giant sinkhole. Immediately, a green mist surged up like a tornado. The mist instantly enveloped Qin Feng. The mist was extremely corrosive, and even the air was corroded to the point of being riddled with holes, like boiling water bubbles. However, Qin Feng stood in the thick fog unscathed. He didn't even need to do anything himself. Ripples appeared on the life immortal armor, and a silver light shone on Qin Feng's body. It was as if an immortal had descended to the mortal world. When the green fog came into contact with Qin Fun's life energy, it instantly disappeared. You can block my engulfing demonic mist? How is this possible? The voice came from the sinkhole again. His voice was very old. It seemed to be 1,000 years old. Moments later, the voice went higher. Life immortal armor? You are wearing the life immortal armor? Up until now, Qin Fun hadn't even seen the shadow of the other party. He leaped onto a spirit crystal pillar and used his divine sense to sweep the sinkhole. However, all he could see was a thick fog. He couldn't see through the fog at all. You are from Kobe's sect in Eastfield Continent? Qin Feng asked. The mist that surged out of the sinkhole suddenly stopped. The voice became even angrier. Why do you ask? What is your relationship with Kobe's sect? Kobe's sect and I are enemies. If you're a disciple of Kobe's sect, I will kill you. I am a disciple of Kobe's sect? I can't wait to kill everyone in Kodo Gate. Do you know why I'm trapped here? It is because of Kobe's sect. The voice came from the sinkhole. Qin Feng breathed a sigh of relief. As the saying went, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Kid, for you to be able to find this place means that you are fated with this senior. I can spare your life. However, you have to save me. After I get out of here, I can give you a lot of cultivation resources. I will also bring you to Kobe's sect to take revenge, the old man said. Qin Fun didn't act rashly. He couldn't be sure if what the other party said was true. Although the fog that gushed out of the sinkhole couldn't pose a threat to him, who knew what realm the old man who was locked underground was at? Let me see your face first. As soon as Qin Feng finished speaking, the mist in the sinkhole quickly dissipated. The sinkhole was several hundred meters deep, and an old man with disheveled hair sat at the bottom of the sinkhole. The old man's entire body was bound by chains that extended from the ground all the way to the ground. Finally, they were fixed on the 9 spirit crystal pillars. Qin Feng was shocked. He did not know who had done such a thing to imprison this old man. It was clear that this old man was someone who had shaken the world in the past. No, you didn't come here to practice the heavenly demon formation. You were imprisoned here. Qin Feng suddenly came to his senses. The mist in the sinkhole returned to normal. Looking from above, it looked like countless dragons were stirring in the sky. The old man's voice was incomparably angry. Brat, to be able to let you see my true appearance is already a great honor for you. Stop asking questions here and there. Hurry up and shatter those 9 spirit crystal pillars. This old man will be able to leave. Qin Feng couldn't help but think of Enid hate. That old monster was also trapped in the immortal stone formation. He must have been treated the same way as this old devil cultivator. Qin Feng immediately dismissed the idea of letting this old man go. Ever since he Shuhin regained his freedom, he had been collecting the devouring immortal insects. He had even taken the compass immortal stones from several immortal stone formations. If he let this old man go, the divine world would be plunged into chaos. Kid, what are you doing? Don't go. Seeing Qin Feng jump off the spirit crystal pillar and was about to leave the room, the old man's voice became extremely anxious. But Qin Feng didn't stop. He didn't even want the 4 spirit marrow pawns and the phoenix orchid. Don't go. As long as you save me, I can give you a heaven-level sword skill. Qin Feng suddenly stopped and turned back to the side of the sinkhole. You have the heaven-level sword skill? Seeing Qin Feng return, the old man sneered inwardly. Of course I have the heaven-level sword skill. As long as you break the 9 spirit crystal pillars, I promise to give you the skill. Qin Feng wouldn't be fooled so easily. He said indifferently, show me the skill first. A murderous look flashed in the old man's eyes. A moment later, a secret manual flew out of the sinkhole and fell into Qin Feng's hand. Qin Feng flipped it open and was stunned. 9-pulse divine sword. Kid, have you heard of a 9-pulse divine sword? Asked the old man. Qin Feng ignored him and quickly scanned through the contents of the secret manual. 9-pulse divine sword, 10,000 swords become 1, sword formation domain, outer world flying. This was exactly the same as the 9-pulse divine sword he found in the sword domain. Rumor had it that the sword domain was where Shun Zhuqing once cultivated in seclusion. After comprehending the sword domain, he simulated a sword domain on the sword peak for people to comprehend and break through. He also left behind a 9-pulse divine sword secret manual. But where did this 9-pulse godly sword come from? Could it be that Shun Zhuqing left it and the old man in the sinkhole found it? The 9-pulse divine sword was created by the South Flat Continent's #1 sect, One Finger God. Why is it in your hands? Qin Feng asked. The old man in the sinkhole laughed maniacally. Ha! One Finger God is a thing of the past. He has been dead for hundreds of years. Now, I'm the only one in the Finger God sect. Of course, this 9-pulse divine sword belongs to me. Qin Feng's expression changed. An unbelievable thought popped up in his mind. You're also from One Finger God? What's your name? The old man seemed a little unhappy, but he still said, Junior like you doesn't have the right to ask for my name. But there's no harm in telling you. I'm one of the founders of One Finger God, Shun Qijuan. The One Finger God you speak of is my senior brother. You're Shun Qijuan? Qin Feng exclaimed. Why do I feel like you know me? And who are you? Shun Qijuan grew suspicious. Qin Feng immediately calmed himself down. He really didn't expect to find Shun Qijuan in Ghost City. According to Aku, Shun Qijuan had disappeared after killing One Finger God. No one would have thought that he would be trapped in One Finger God for hundreds of years. Qin Feng had heard about Shun Qijuan's story from Aku. He didn't like this person at all. He had planned to leave, but Qin Feng suddenly remembered that the immortal weapon left behind by Shun Zhuqing was probably in Shun Qijuan's hands. Senior, I want to save you, but these 9 spirit crystal sky pillars are indestructible. I can't destroy them with my cultivation. Qin Feng looked troubled. Shun Qijuan said, I can give you a weapon. Use that weapon to break the 9 spirit crystal pillars. As long as you save me, I can help you break through to the peak of the true form realm quickly. The true form realm was a height that many cultivators could only dream of. An ordinary cultivator would have been tempted by Shun Qijuan, but Qin Feng didn't care. All right, Senior, please give me the weapon. Shun Qijuan hesitated for a moment. Finally, he used his spiritual consciousness, and a white glow flew out of the crater. Qin Feng caught the white light. It was the radiance of a long sword. The sword was exquisitely carved, as if it was the work of the gods. When his palm touched the blade of the sword, a wave of pure qi flowed into his body, making him feel refreshed. This is the immortal weapon left behind by One Finger God. Qin Feng was shocked. He was sure that the treasure sword in his hand was an immortal weapon. The pure qi was like an immortal stone. Young hero, use the sword to break the spirit crystal pillars. Shun Qijuan said anxiously. Qin Feng didn't move. When he looked at the immortal sword carefully, he couldn't bear to part with it. What's the name of this sword? Shun Qijuan said angrily. Don't worry about that. Break the 9 spirit crystal pillars first. Qin Feng said unhurriedly. I can't do that. I have to know the name of such a good sword. Otherwise, I won't use it. It's a great sword, Shun Qijuan said coldly. Although the name is a little lame, it suits this immortal sword. You know this is an immortal sword? Shun Qijuan's expression changed. He suddenly realized that he had been tricked. Qin Feng laughed coldly and said, Not only do I know this is an immortal weapon, but I also know that it belongs to Senior One Finger. You are worse than a beast. You stole Senior One Finger's sword technique and sword, killed him on the sword peak, and forced Aku to flee. Am I right? Shun Qijuan's eyes widened in disbelief. How did you know? Who are you? Who I am is not important. Aku told me all this. Are you disappointed that she is not dead? Qin Feng said. Aku is not dead. I have been waiting for her in Ghost City. If she dares to come back, I will make that little bitch's life a living hell. It was understandable that Shun Qijuan hated God's finger, but Qin Feng couldn't figure out why he hated Aku so much. Without Qin Feng asking, Shun Qijuan continued, That bitch couple abandoned me and stuck together all day. Later, I went to find Aku and asked her to leave Senior One Finger. But that bitch didn't listen, so I started to take revenge on them. Not only did I kill God One Finger, but I raped Aku. I wanted that bitch couple to suffer. The more Qin Feng listened, the more confused he became. He could hear jealousy in Shun Qijuan's tone. He wasn't jealous of God One Finger, but Aku. You cultivated the Demon Lord treasure book? Qin Feng exclaimed. Shun Qijuan's expression changed again. You're really surprising. Not only do you have the life immortal armor, but you also know the Demon Lord treasure book. Who are you? Shun Qijun developed a strong interest in Qin Feng. Qin Feng suddenly realized that Shun Qijun was indeed jealous of Aku. He had cultivated the demonic lord's Bible and became like Li Tao. It turned out that he had fallen in love with brother God One Finger. First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second, Booksellers Mobile. Chapter 21:36. You are neither a man nor a woman. How dare you complain about ruining someone else's family? Today, I will do justice on behalf of the heavens. Qin Feng did not have a good impression of Shun Qijun, putting aside the matter between him, God One Finger, and Aku. The sky demon formation before him had probably been around for hundreds of years. During this period of time, the Spirit Fog City had been turned into a ghost city. Countless cultivators had lost their lives in the city. This was obviously Shun Qijun's doing. Huh, an ant like you wants to kill me? I really don't know where you get your confidence from. Shun Qijun laughed maniacally. Qin Feng finally saw his face clearly. It was a very strange face. It looked like a man and a woman at the same time. His voice had also changed. It was a hermaphrodite. Qin Feng suddenly started to worry about Li Tao. If that guy continued to cultivate demonic skills, would he also look like Shun Qijun? We will know if I can kill you or not after trying. Qin Feng waved his hand. The great sword let out a crisp sword hum. It was as if a sword gleam had suddenly fallen from the sky. The sword gleam was originally as small as a light spot, but when it landed, it had already filled the sinkhole. There was a loud noise. The sword chi was endless. Thick fog rose from the bottom of the sinkhole. The fog was like an iron wall, blocking the sword gleam in midair. There was a loud sound of metal clashing. After a while, the sword gleam dissipated. The black fog rushed up crazily. It was as if there were countless huge dragons soaring into the sky. Little ant, I have lived for almost 1,000 years. The spiritual chi I have eaten is more than the rice you have eaten. Even if I am trapped in the sinkhole, I can kill you with a single thought. The hermaphrodite voice came again. It formed a response in the sinkhole. It made Qin Feng uncomfortable. This voice was not simple. It had a strong divine sense attack. Qin Feng did not think and use his domain. Instantly, he felt that the voice was frozen in the air. Not only could he not hear the voice, but the surging black fog also stopped. It was like a magnificent scenery of clouds on a cliff. You have comprehended domain? This is impossible. When the 1,000-year-old monster, Shun Qijun, saw through the domain, he was shocked by Qin Feng's power. Qin Feng had long been accustomed to this. He immediately took advantage of the moment when the other party was stunned and slashed several divine sense blades. The thick fog that filled the sky was cut into pieces and floated in the air like pieces of paper. Qin Feng stepped on the void and rushed into the pit. His domain also moved and filled the whole pit. Whoosh! The saber light flashed, but there was no sound at all. This was Qin Feng's divine sense condensed into a saber. At the same time, Qin Feng slashed down with his sword. He silently recited the 9 pulse godly sword skill, and countless strands of sword chi merged into one, forming a gigantic heaven-splitting sword. Under the double attack, it felt like the entire sinkhole was shaking violently. Gravel fell from the top, and cracks appeared on the walls. Shun Qijun could no longer remain calm. When he saw Qin Feng use the 10,000 swords become one sword technique, his eyes widened in disbelief. He shouted, 9 pulse godly sword? You actually practiced the 9 pulse godly sword to the small success stage? Qin Feng actually did not deliberately practice the 9 pulse godly sword, but when he was comprehending Tao and the sword mountain, he naturally understood the true meaning of the nine-pulse godly sword. Now that he had reached the level of sword formation domain, he could form a sword formation in his domain. And the peak of this sky-level sword skill was to use the sword skill to ascend and step into the immortal realm. Instantly, the divine sense blades and the sword light exploded on Shun Chi-jun's body. He roared in pain, and the 9 chains on his body shook violently. It felt like the chains were going to break at any moment. Qin was so scared that he immediately flew out of the sinkhole. He did not dare to continue fighting, afraid that he would accidentally let this big demon go. Ha ha! Little ant, why did you stop? I can promise not to fight back. I will stand here and let you hit me. Can you kill me? Shun Chi-jun deliberately provoked Qin, but this kind of child's play was useless against Qin. Instead, it made him even more cautious. I really like the peerless sword you gave me. You can continue to stay in the sinkhole. I will leave first. Qin turned and left. Shun Chi-jun said anxiously, "Young hero, don't go. That immortal sword is useless to you. Quickly return it to me." Qin did not care about his words. After a few breaths, he flew out of the room and found 6 figures in the room. "Who is it?" Sect leader Su Kong. "He is the one who stole the spirit turtle shell from the Shinkoin weapon workshop." Su Wumian recognized Qin immediately. This kid is the #1 of this year's South Flat Continent Genius Conference, Qin. The 6 people in the room were the Shinkoin sect leader and the others who had entered the ghost city not long ago. They all knew the value of the spirit turtle shell. Rumor had it that it was the key to opening the door of life in the 13 palaces. They had never expected that the cultivator who had entered the ghost city was Qin. The heavens had opened their eyes. "Stinking brat, hand over the treasure you got from the mountain of life, and we will leave your corpse intact," Su Wumian said coldly. The others didn't even need to speak. Qin was only at the nihility spirit stage. To these powerful beings, he was like an ant. "So it's Shinkoin sect's old thief. I was planning to wipe out your sect when I was free. I didn't think you would come to me to die." Qin smiled coldly. You don't know your place. Don't think you're so great just because you got #1. In our eyes, you were just an ant." Su Wumian slapped out with his palm. Fierce True Yuan surged in the room, and a giant hand appeared. But before the True Yuan hand could completely form, Su Wumian's attack had already disappeared. "Elder Wu Mian, what are you doing?" Shinkoin sect vice sect leader Su Yun asked. Junior brother Wu Mian's aura is gone. What happened? Not good. Wu Mian is dead. Everyone be careful. That guy hid his cultivation. Sect leader Su Kong suddenly shouted. Everyone was shocked. No one could believe that a nihility spirit stage ant could instantly kill Su Wumian, who was body condensation state level 2. How'd he do it? I didn't even feel a trace of True Yuan ripple. A body condensation state, middle stage, elder said in shock. Actually, even vice sect leader Su Yin didn't know what was going on. However, Su Kong felt a trace of spirit sense ripple. He used a spirit sense attack. Everyone, quickly seal your sea of consciousness, Su Kong yelled, but it was too late. As soon as he finished speaking, a series of explosions sounded in the minds of the 3 great elders. Only they could hear that intense sound. They didn't even have the chance to speak. Instantly, their expressions turned sluggish. The light in their eyes dimmed. They were no different from idiots. Rumble. Qin's long sword swept horizontally. The bodies of the 3 immediately exploded, and they were completely destroyed. Celestial sword? That kid got a celestial sword. The legend of Ghost City is true. That year, God One Finger really left a celestial weapon in the sect. Today, no matter what, we have to kill that kid and take the celestial weapon. Only Su Kong and Su Yun, the 2 sect leaders, were left. When they recognized the peerless sword in Qin's hand, their eyes shone with greed. Chapter 21:37. That's right. The sword in my hand is the immortal weapon God One Finger left behind. It's just that you don't have the strength to take it away. Qin's voice was cold. Su Kong and Su Yin calmed down. Qin Fen was clearly hiding his strength. If he could instantly kill Su Wuyun in them, then he was at least body condensation state tertiary stage. Xingkuan sect was a 6-star sect in South Pingzhou. Even Su Kong, the sect leader, wasn't very strong, only at body condensation state peak stage. As for vice sect leader Su Yun, she was still body condensation state tertiary stage. But the two weren't afraid of Qin Fen. To them, Qin Fen was at most body condensation state peak stage. If they joined forces, they could definitely kill him. Qin Brat, I advise you to hand over the immortal weapon, and we will let you go. Su Kong's tone was cold. Su Yun chimed in. The strength you displayed during the Genius Conference was indeed impressive, but that was only limited to you juniors. If you want to fight against me and sect leader Su Kong, you're still miles away. The two actually didn't want to fight Qin Fen. They just wanted to suppress him with their qi. Qin Fen sneered. You two don't even have the right to be my opponent. Arrogant ant. I'll show you my true Yuan first. Su Yin was furious. His true Yuan rumbled as if 1,000 layers of clouds appeared behind him. Just then, another powerful wave of true Yuan surged over. Even the black clouds were scared away. When the true Yuan enveloped the two, their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. This is cauldron-filling state qi? You broke through to cauldron-filling state? It's not just cauldron-filling state. This should be the true Yuan qi of disaster transformation state cultivators. When she heard sect leader Su Kong say the words disaster transformation state, Su Yin instantly felt unwell. In the entire South Pingzhou state, the strongest cultivators were only cauldron-filling state peak. There didn't seem to be any disaster transformation state experts. When Qin Fen participated in the Genius Conference, he was only at Hollow Spirit Realm. In just a year, he reached disaster transformation state. When the violent true Yuan attacked, the two were instantly swallowed. Su Kong and Su Yin couldn't get an answer anymore and completely disappeared from the Divine Supreme Continent. Killing two body condensation state cultivators didn't affect Qin Fen at all. Just as he was about to leave with the sword, a loud bang came from the room where Shen Qijuan was locked up. Not good. Shen Qijuan escaped? Qin Feng's expression changed drastically, and he rushed back to his room. When he returned to the underground secret room, he found Shen Qijuan standing under the 4 phoenix flowers. He seemed to be absorbing the demonic qi in the Great Sky Demon Formation. The Great Devil really escaped. The iron chains on his body broke, and even the 9 spirit crystal pillars collapsed and fell. The entire cave shook violently, and the base of the immortal stone formation seemed to be completely collapsing. Ha ha! Stinking brat, I really have to thank you. If you hadn't launched those fierce attacks on me, I'm afraid I would have to wait another few decades before I could come out. Once I've sucked the devil ether out of the great heavenly demon formation, you'll be the first to be killed. Shen Qijuan threw his head back and laughed maniacally. Qin Fen realized that he had done something stupid again. If the cultivators of the Divine Continent knew that he had let go of He Shuhin and Shen Qijuan, who knew if they would form a team to hunt him down. But it was too late to say anything now. Qin Fen immediately swung his sword at the Great Sky Demon Formation that was faintly visible in the sky. A loud explosion sounded, and the Great Sky Demon Formation actually cracked. Countless devil ether flew out of the cracks. Ayaya, you little ant, how dare you let go of the devil ether that I've been cultivating for hundreds of years? I'm going to kill you now. Shen Qijuan suddenly went crazy, and he struck out with his palm. The wind from his palm instantly formed a green hurricane, crashing into Qin Feng's abdomen. The hurricane blew the secret room over, and even the room above it was blown over. Qin Feng flew into the sky and immediately escaped on his immortal sword. The immortal sword was so fast that Shen Qijuan couldn't catch up. Moreover, he had used up all his devil ether in order to break free from the spirit crystal pillars. Even if he tried to catch up, he wouldn't be able to. Shen Qijuan finally flew back to the secret room and frantically absorbed the devil ether that was gushing out of the Great Sky Demon Formation. As he absorbed, he cursed, "Stinking brat, You'd better not let me see you again, or I'll skin you alive. After flying for 3 days and 3 nights, Qin Feng finally let his guard down. He adjusted the direction of the soaring cloud and finally landed outside the 6-star sect, the 100 Intentions sect. This is the 100 Intentions sect's restricted area. If you're not a disciple of our sect, please leave immediately. The disciples guarding the gate immediately flew over, and more than 10 of them formed a human wall in front of Qin Feng. Actually, Qin Feng had come to the 100 Intentions sect to find Zhao Ziyu. Back when he went exploring on Gourd Island, he had made a few good friends, and Zhao Ziyu was one of them. I'm here to find your elder, Zhao Ziyu. Please inform him. With Qin Feng's current cultivation, he could definitely force his way in. However, he had always been clear about right and wrong. Zhao Ziyu was his good friend, so he had to respect the sect he was in. Knowing that Qin Feng was here to find the great elder, a disciple immediately went to report. Half an hour later, a figure flew over from the sky, and a pleasantly surprised voice called out, "Young hero Qin? It's really you. Senior Zhao, long time no see. How have you been?" Qin Feng was in a good mood after reuniting with his good friend. Zhao Ziyu smiled and said, "I'm very good, but I really didn't expect to see young hero Qin again." Qin Feng understood what Zhao Ziyu meant. More than a year ago at the South Flat Continent Genius Conference, Qin Feng had killed many genius disciples of 6-star and even 7-star sections. He had offended almost half of the South Flat Continent's factions. Even though he had displayed shocking battle strength, the South Flat Continent cultivators still didn't think highly of him and believed that he would be hunted down by the sects after the conference. Zhao Ziyu thought so too, which was why he was so excited to see Qin Feng again. However, when Zhao Ziyu looked at Qin Feng's cultivation, he was even more shocked. "Young hero Qin, what realm are you at now? Why can't I see through it?" Qin Feng didn't hide it. "Senior Zhao, I've already stepped into disaster transformation state." Zhao Ziyu rolled his eyes and almost fainted. There probably wasn't a single disaster transformation state expert in the entire South Flat Continent. When he first met Qin Feng was only a false god. How could he have stepped into disaster transformation state in less than 2 years? "Young hero Qin, your joke isn't funny." Zhao Ziyu's expression turned serious. Qin Feng said seriously, "But I'm not joking with Senior Zhao. If you don't believe me, feel it again." A wave of true essence surged out. There seemed to be a level 12 hurricane outside the 100 Thoughts gate. The row of disciples guarding the gate were shaken back, and even Zhao Ziyu almost couldn't hold on. What realm is this? Young hero Qin, you really stepped into disaster transformation state?" Zhao Ziyu was stunned. First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second, Booksellers Mobile. Chapter 2138. Why would I lie to Senior Zhao? Qin Feng's expression was slightly helpless. Zhao Ziyu couldn't calm down for a long time. The disciples guarding the gate were also in a state of turmoil. In the entire South Flat Continent, it was impossible to find a disaster transformation realm master. But Qin Feng was only 30 years old, yet he had already stepped into the disaster transformation realm. After calming down, Zhao Ziyu invited Qin Feng to the sect as a guest. When the sect leader of the 100 Intentions sect learned of Qin Feng's current realm, he immediately came out of the seclusion pavilion to welcome him. "I didn't know young hero Qin was coming. Please forgive me for not coming out to greet you." The sect leader of the 100 Intentions sect was called Zhao Wanwan. He had just reached Cauldron Ekiana realm not long ago. In the South Flat Continent, he was already one of the top experts. Actually, when Zhao Wanwan received the disciples' report, he didn't dare to believe it. Now that he saw Qin Feng with his own eyes, he was instantly shocked. Even with his current cultivation, he couldn't see through Qin Feng. "Sect leader Zhao, you're too polite. I just happened to pass by the South Flat Continent and thought of Senior Zhao Ziyu, so I came to visit." Qin Feng smiled. When Zhao Wanwan realized he couldn't see through Qin Feng's realm, his attitude immediately changed. Just now, he called Qin Feng young hero, but now he called him senior. Hee. Senior Qin is too humble. In front of your cultivation, Zhao Ziyu and I can only call ourselves juniors. We don't dare to be arrogant. Qin Feng disliked Zhao Wanwan's smoothness. In short, he wasn't as close as when he was with Zhao Ziyu. Even after knowing his current cultivation, Zhao Ziyu didn't reject him, calling him senior. Senior Ziyu, I have something to ask you this time. Qin Feng went straight to the point. If it was just Zhao Ziyu, he could talk for a while longer. Now, he just wanted to ask his questions and leave as soon as possible. Young hero Qin, feel free to ask. I'll tell you if I know. Zhao Ziyu smiled. Qin Feng nodded. How much do you know about Godfinger, Senior Ziyu? Zhao Ziyu was stunned. She didn't expect Qin Feng to ask about the Godfinger. Young hero Qin, the Godfinger was a 9-star sect when it was at its peak. However, because of the disappearance of the Godfinger sect leader, the sect declined day by day. Now it's barely a 5-star sect. However, I heard that the current sect leader also disappeared. Now, the Godfinger has become a 4-star sect. Qin Feng knew all that Zhao Ziyu said. Moreover, the current sect leader of God's Finger was chased away by him. Of course, that was not what Qin Feng wanted to ask. He wanted to know more about Shun Qijuan. After all, he had stolen Shun Qijuan's immortal weapon, the peerless sword from Spectre City. That devil would definitely come looking for him. Senior Ziyu, do you know anything about the 7 monarchs of the god One Finger? Senior Shun Qijuan. Just the mention of this name made Zhao Ziyu reveal an expression of reverence. This was because Shun Qijuan was a true senior of the South Flat Continent. I've only heard of the epic battle between Senior Shun Qijuan and Senior God One Finger at the Sword Peak. In the end, Shun Qijuan won. As for other information, I'm not sure. That battle had shaken the entire South Flat State. Even after hundreds of years, it was still being passed down among the cultivators. Qin Feng was slightly disappointed. What Zhao Ziyu knew wasn't a secret. Almost all the cultivators in the South Plateau continent knew about it. Qin Feng had even heard about it from Aku a long time ago. Actually, Qin Feng really wanted to find Aku and tell her about Shun Qijuan. However, he didn't know where to find Aku. Senior Qin, I do know some secrets. Can I share them? Zhao Wanwan suddenly asked. Sect leader Zhao, just say it. Qin Feng perked up. This Shun Qijuan was a famous person in the South Pagoda State. Back then, he and God One Finger stepped into the true God realm almost at the same time. For a sect to produce 2 true gods was something impossible in the South Pagoda State back then. Hence, God One Finger sect became the #1 sect in the South Pagoda State back then. Martial arts flourished. Later on, Shun Qijuan betrayed them and stole God One Finger's peak sword technique manual. He also killed God One Finger on the sword peak. These are all known to everyone. However, very few people know what happened to Shun Qijuan. Rumors say that he suddenly disappeared. He didn't go into seclusion or ascend to the immortal world. Zhao Ziyu listened intently and couldn't help but ask, Sect leader, where did Shun Qijuan go? According to the secrets, he was sealed by a group of powerful cultivators using a grand array. He hasn't been able to come out, Zhao Wanxian said. That's impossible. Shun Qijuan stepped into the true god realm back then. Who in the South Flat State was his match? How could he be trapped? Zhao Ziyu couldn't believe it. Qin Feng's heart shook. Zhao Wanxian's secret was basically the same as the truth. Zhao Wanxian continued, I didn't believe it at first either. However, I heard another secret. What secret? Zhao Ziyu looked expectant. You should have heard of the Eastfield Continent senior, Why Need Hate? Qin Feng's expression changed. What happened to Why Need Hate? That senior had stepped into the true god realm long ago and was famous in the Eastfield Continent. He was in charge of the 9-star sect. However, he suddenly disappeared. There was a secret saying that Why Need Hate was trapped in the North Sand State and hasn't appeared since. Zhao Ziyu shook his head again. This secret is even more suspicious. Why Need Hate's cultivation isn't below Shun Qijuan's. How could he be trapped in the North Sand State? Zhao Ziyu was implying that the North Sand State was lacking in spiritual energy. Even body condensation realm experts were rare. How could there be someone who could trap a true god? Why need hate? Qin Fen was completely shocked. The two secrets that Zhao Wanxian heard were the truth. Why need hate and Shun Qijuan were released by Qin Fen. Sect leader Zhao, where did you hear these secrets? Qin Fen asked. I don't remember. I heard a long time ago. I didn't think much of it back then. However, I had a guess. Maybe there's a mysterious force in the Divine Supreme Continent that specializes in killing top revered realm experts and stopping other forces from developing. Qin Fen was impressed by Zhao Wanxian. This old man's imagination was really big. If he was on Earth, he would definitely be a great writer on the internet. If it's really like what sect leader said, that mysterious force is too strong. Even a true God Almighty could be trapped. Zhao Ziyu's words were filled with doubt. He didn't agree with Zhao Wanxian's guess. However, Qin Fen felt that his guess was very close to the truth. After he saved Shun Qijuan and Why Need Hate, the two of them expressed that they had a grudge against the Eastfield Continent's God Clan. The two of them should have been trapped by the God Clan. Sect leader Zhao, other than the two secrets you mentioned, do you have any other secrets? Qin Fen was interested. Zhao Wanxian tried hard to recall, and his eyes lit up. That's right. Back then, the other true God Almighty Realm expert in the South Flat Continent disappeared overnight and hasn't appeared since. First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second, Booksellers Mobile. Chapter 2139. Which Almighty Senior? Qin Fen asked. Young hero Qin, do you know Tiantong City? That senior was the city lord of Tiantong City, Nan Tianjue, said Zhao Wanxian. Tiantong City? That's the largest public city in South Pingzhou? Qin Fen was surprised. That's right, it's that Tiantong City. Of course Qin Fen knew about Tiantong City, and it was still fresh in his memory. The South Pingzhou Genius Conference was held in Tiantong City. Qin Fen showed his prowess in the conference and killed many genius disciples from 6-star and even 7-star sections. When the conference ended, those sects wanted to kill Qin Fen, but the 4 elders of Tiantong City appeared and saved him. The 4 elders all had systems, and their system levels were very high. Even Qin Fen couldn't see through them back then. Zhao Wanxian continued. Ever since Senior Nintianjua disappeared, Tiantong City has been under the control of Tianming and the other 3 elders. As for the current city lord, his identity is extremely mysterious. Even I have never seen him in person. Qin Fen was more shocked as he listened. He felt that Zhao Wanxian's guess was correct. Those godly venerable experts who suddenly disappeared were suppressed by a mysterious force, and the mysterious force was most likely the Eastfield Continent's Kobe sect. If that was the case, then the current city lord of Tiantong City was most likely from the Kobe sect. In addition, the 4 elders of Tiantong City had systems, so they could speculate that the Kobe sect's cultivation technique inheritance was the system. Are there any more secrets about the sudden disappearance of peak experts? Qin Fen seemed to have found a clue. Zhao Wanxian shook his head. I've only heard of these 3 experts. However, during the peak of cultivation in the Divine Continent, there were 12 Supremes. Those 12 seniors were the first to step into the true God realm and could ascend to the immortal world at any time. However, the 12 Supremes have long disappeared. Only the sect master of the Eastfield Continent's Kobe sect is still around. If Senior Qin wants to investigate this matter, you can start by looking for the 12 Supremes. Zhao Wanxian could see that Qin Fen was very concerned about this matter. Sect Master Zhao, you mean that the 12 Supremes were suppressed by a mysterious force? Zhao Wanxian said, this is only a bold guess of mine. Everything will be decided by Senior Qin. Zhao Ziyu was shocked by the conversation between the two. If it was as the sect leader had guessed, and there was a mysterious force suppressing the Divine Supreme Continent's top-notch honorable martial artists, then what was the other party's goal? Qin Feng had already left the 100 Intentions sect. This visit was of great significance to him, as it gave him a new direction. Since he had come to the South Flat Continent, Qin Fen planned to go to Sky Connection City to take a look. There was one thing he could not understand. If the current Sky Connection City Lord and the 4 elders were from the Kobe Gate, Why did they protect him back then? As the largest public city in the South Flat Continent, Sky Connection City used to be bustling with activity. However, this time, Qin Feng saw a desolate scene. There was no one on the streets, and the shops were all closed. The sky in the depths of the city was shrouded in a gray haze. When Qin Feng used his divine sense to scan the area, he discovered that he couldn't see through the gray haze. What's going on here? Qin Feng rushed towards the city. On the way, he saw a group of 4 people and immediately flew down to ask. The 4 people were obviously shocked by Qin Feng's appearance. They probably didn't expect that someone would dare to enter Sky Connection City. One of them suddenly exclaimed, "You young hero Qin?" The other 3 also recognized Qin Feng. Wasn't this the person who showed his prowess in the Genius Conference held in Sky Connection City more than a year ago? They didn't expect to see him here. "You know me, young hero Qin. We are disciples of the Cloud Moon Gate. We saw young hero Qin's prowess in the Genius Conference last time," said the older man. Speaking of Cloud Moon Gate, it was one of the 4 7-star sects in the South Flat Continent. During the Genius Conference that year, Qin Feng killed his way out and scared Cloud Moon Gate's representative, Gu He, into leaving without a fight. "This is Sky Connection City, right?" Qin Feng went straight to the point. The older disciple hurriedly nodded. "Yes, young hero Qin. Then why is there no one here? I remember a year ago, Sky Connection City was filled with people." The 4 people looked at each other, their eyes filled with doubt. After the older disciple came back to his senses, he immediately said, "Young hero Qin probably just came out of seclusion, right? The matter of Sky Connection City has already spread like wildfire. Almost all the cultivators in the South Flat Continent know about it. Just half a month ago, there was a sudden explosion in the city, and then a mysterious black fog enveloped it. Many cultivators were swallowed by the black fog, and no one could be seen anymore. After that, everyone panicked and left Sky Connection City one after another. So it became like this." After Qin Feng finished listening to the narration of the Cloud Moon Gate disciple, he immediately thought of the devouring immortal bug. It seemed that Sky Connection City also had a base of the immortal stone great array. "Since it's very dangerous here, why didn't you leave?" Qin Feng suddenly asked. "Young hero Qin, we are actually very afraid of encountering the black fog, but Sky Connection City is filled with treasures now. We risked our lives to come here," said a disciple. Qin Feng immediately understood. A large number of cultivators died in Sky Connection City, and the storage rings left behind by those cultivators were all resources. Furthermore, there were many pill shops and weapon shops in the city. Now that the shops were empty, wouldn't those pills and spirit weapons be taken away at will? Qin Feng didn't care about those cultivation resources. He had already left on a sword and flew towards the depths of the city. The 4 disciples of Cloud Moon were still waiting for Qin Feng to speak. After waiting for a long time and seeing that he didn't say anything, they looked up and realized that he had already left. "I didn't expect that Qin Feng was still alive. Didn't the forces of the South Flat Continent chase after him?" A disciple was puzzled. The older cultivator immediately reprimanded. "What nonsense are you talking about? Be careful that young hero Qin hasn't gone far." That disciple was so scared that his face turned pale. More than a year ago, Qin Feng was able to sweep through all opponents in the Genius Assembly. No one could see how powerful he was now. Sky Connection City was far more vast than Qin Feng imagined. An hour later, he truly flew into the dusky land. At this time, he had already flown into the range of the city, and below him was a mountain range. However, in this seemingly desolate valley, the spiritual energy was several times denser than in the city. Soon, Qin Feng found the source of the gray fog. It floated out from a hidden valley. When he stood at the bottom of the valley, Qin Feng's expression changed drastically. This gray fog wasn't the devouring immortal bug, nor was it demonic qi or yin qi. It was extremely dense spiritual energy. The spiritual energy floated and covered more than half of Sky Connection City. The spiritual energy was like the morning mist, and water droplets appeared on Qin Feng's face. However, these weren't water droplets. They were raindrops condensed from spiritual energy. When Qin Feng had set up a spirit-gathering formation to help Hongming break through to the true form realm, it had triggered a spirit rain. Although that spirit rain was more spectacular than the one before him, it only covered the vicinity of the second demon peak. At this time, the spirit rain was fine and lingering, covering more than half of the sky above Sky Connection City. Chapter 2140. Qin Feng sat cross-legged in the valley, planning to use the spirit rain to cultivate. When he carefully felt the spirit rain's aura, he found that the spirit rain here was much purer than the one Hong Mo had caused when he broke through. There was even a faint aura of immortal stones. Qin Feng quickly set up a level 8 spirit gathering formation. The spirit rain seemed to find a direction and gathered, forming a whirlpool in the sky. It flowed into the formation like a huge dragon. Qin Feng used the fortune of heaven and earth skill and placed the remaining immortal stones in the formation. Immediately, spirit energy boiled and flowed into Qin Feng's body. His energy center expanded quickly. Half a day later, there was a loud sound in his body. He had successfully entered disaster transformation state level 5. This spirit rain was really magical. There seemed to be no bottleneck when cultivating. 3 days later, Qin Feng entered disaster transformation state level 6. 7 days later, he was disaster transformation state level 7. Qin Feng felt that he could continue breaking through without any obstruction from the heavenly Tao. However, the spirit rain in the sky suddenly disappeared. What a pity! If the spirit rain had continued for another 10 days to half a month, I would have a chance to enter the true form realm. Qin Feng sighed. When he felt the vital energy in his body, he found that it was many times stronger than before. However, at this moment, a loud sound came from a mountain peak not far away. That majestic mountain suddenly collapsed, and several figures flew out from it. Nantianju, you won't be able to escape. I advise you to surrender, or else you'll die. This old guy almost tore space and flew into the celestial world. We can't let him live. 5 people flew out of the mountain. 4 of them were in a row, and the other was a white-robed old man. Qin Feng knew all 4 of them. They were Tianming and the other 3 elders. When he heard the white-robed old man's name, his heart shook. You have trapped me for hundreds of years. Today, you stopped me from ascending. If I don't kill you all, I won't have this cultivation, Nantianju said angrily. Qin Feng suddenly understood. No wonder the spirit rain was so powerful. It allowed him to rise 3 levels in half a month. It was the spirit rain formed by a peak true god, cultivator, breaking through to the celestial realm. Very quickly, the 5 of them discovered Qin Feng's existence. Tianming's expression changed, and he quickly calmed down. So it's young hero Qin. A monster has appeared in Tiantong City, and our 4 elders are fighting against him. Young hero Qin, please leave this place quickly. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't hear Tianming's words and said to the white-robed elder, Are you senior, Nantianjue? You know me? Nantianjue was surprised. Why were you trapped here for hundreds of years? Qin Feng only asked. Nantianju said, These people are the disciples of the Eastfield Continent's Kobe sect. The Kobe sect has gone mad. They actually started setting up the Immortal Stone Grand Formation hundreds of years ago. The formation's effect is to seal a world, preventing the cultivators of the Divine Supreme Continent from ascending to immortality. Not only that, the leader of the Kobe faction, God King Su, has also trapped a group of cultivators who are about to ascend to the deity realm in an attempt to rule the entire Divine Supreme Continent. Qin Feng had this speculation when he was at the 100 Intentions sect. Now that his speculation was confirmed, he was still shocked. Nantianjue continued, Young hero, the Kobe sect is not only my enemy, but the entire Divine Supreme Continent's cultivators' enemy. Now, you just need to help me hold those 4 people back temporarily. Once I recover my quintessential essence, I can kill them. Tianming laughed and said, Haha, old thief, you really know how to make up stories. The four of us are native cultivators of the South Field continent. When did we become the disciples of the East Field continent's Kobe sect? The other three elders also spoke. Young hero Chin. This person is the devil of the South Field continent. He has committed many evil deeds and killed countless people. Leave his place first. We will eliminate this devil. If we let this devil escape today, the South Field continent will never see the light of day again. All right, young hero, you should leave first. This is a grudge between me and the Kobe sect. It's better not to implicate you. Nan Tianjue's thoughts changed. He could see that Qin Feng was only at disaster transformation stage 7, while Tianming and the other three were almighties who had stepped into the true form realm. Nan Tianjue Qianbei, if I save your life today, can you promise to do one thing for me in the future? Qin Feng suddenly said. They were dazed and didn't know what he was thinking. Tianming's four elders' faces went cold. Clearly, their patience had run out. Young hero Qin, you better leave quickly or the consequences will be unimaginable. If young Master Qin really helps that devil, then don't blame us for being rude to you. Qin Feng didn't seem to hear their threats. He looked straight at Nan Tianjue and said, Qianbei, what do you think of my suggestion? Nan Tianjue was surprised. He didn't know where Qin Feng got his confidence from. A mere disaster transformation state dared to say that he could save him from four truth realization state cultivators. Okay, as long as you can save me, I'm willing to do one thing for you. Nan Tianjue finally agreed. He had been trapped under the Tiantong Mountain for hundreds of years. He couldn't miss any chance to escape. Truly an ant that doesn't know death. Senior brothers, go and kill Nan Tianjue. Leave Qin Feng to me. A gray-robed elder charged at Qin Feng with a sneer in his eyes and casually struck out with his palm. Immediately, a quintessential essence giant hand descended from the sky. The gray-robed elder's truth realization state power was displayed. The void shook and the air rippled like water, instantly reaching Qin Feng's head. Tianming and the other two charged at Nan Tianjue at the same time. They couldn't even be bothered to look back. When their junior brother attacked, they already knew that Qin Feng was dead. Nan Tianjue looked into the sky and lost his confidence. He still had to rely on himself. Rumble. There was a loud explosion in the sky. However, the commotion was more intense than everyone had imagined. Tianming and the other two couldn't help but look back. Their eyeballs fell to the ground in shock. Qin Feng was hovering in the air on his flying sword. His white robe was blown by the quintessential essence, but he wasn't injured at all. His aura was also calm. However, Elder Tianxing was nowhere to be seen. There was only a large pool of blood on the ground. What's going on? Tianming was shocked. Fourth brother's aura disappeared. Is he dead? Another elder was in disbelief. Who killed fourth brother? Does that Qin brat have that ability? Tianming and the other two regretted it. If they had known earlier that fourth brother would attack, they would have taken a second look. They wouldn't have acted like this. However, someone clearly saw the moment when Qin Feng killed Elder Tianxing. Nan Tianjue's eyes were filled with shock. When Tianxing's quintessential essence hand was about to land on Qin Feng's head, Qin Feng's sword slashed through the air and directly split the hand. At the same time, Tianxing's physical body and nascent soul body were also shattered. Immortal artifact. That young hero actually has an immortal artifact. Nan Tianjue was shocked. It was just a glimpse, but he could see the grade of the peerless sword. No matter how fourth brother died, it won't be wrong to kill Qin Feng first. Tianming and the other two also came back to their senses. Boundless killing intent surged from their bodies as they pressed toward Qin Feng. This time, before the opponent's attack landed, Qin Feng attacked first. He instantly flew above the three of them and swung his hand. A white light pillar slashed down, sweeping up a sword chi hurricane. When he was still in the mid-stage disaster transformation state, Qin Feng could kill early-stage true form experts. Now that he had broken through to the late-stage disaster transformation state and had an immortal artifact, it was even easier to deal with true form experts. When the immortal artifact slashed down, The vast sky seemed to be split in half. As long as the sword Qi was in its path, there would be no chance of survival. One of the elders tried to forcefully resist Qin Feng's attack, but he instantly disappeared in the surging sword Qi. Rumble. Another true form expert was dead. Tian Ming and the other two were dumbfounded. They still remembered that when they saved Qin Feng 2 years ago, he was still at the Void Spirit Realm. In just 2 short years, he could actually kill early-stage true form experts. Your growth is beyond my expectations. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have let you stay back then. Tian Ming was filled with anger. Qin Feng sneered and said, it's too late to regret now. The Kobe family is heartless. You destroyed the path of ascension for billions of cultivators in the entire divine continent for your own benefit. Evil people will eventually get their retribution. It's not that the time hasn't come yet. And now, it's time for retribution. Qin Feng slashed down with his sword again, and another elder was killed. The scene of killing a true form expert with one slash was so spectacular that even Qin Feng felt excited. Tian Ming saw that the situation was hopeless, so he immediately flew away on his sword. Before Qin Feng could chase after him, there was a loud explosion in the distant sky. Nantian Ju was still in his original position. He didn't attack, but he had already killed Tian Ming. Divine Consciousness attack. Qin Feng suddenly woke up. Although he could also use Divine Consciousness attacks to kill powerful cultivators, it was still difficult to do so from such a long distance. It was obvious that Nantian Ju's Divine Consciousness was many times stronger than his. However, after this attack, Nantian Ju's face was pale and beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. It seemed that he had used all his strength to kill Tian Ming. I failed to ascend to immortality and suffered the backlash of the heavenly Tao. Now, I am seriously injured and my realm has fallen, Nantian Ju explained. Qin Feng took out some healing elixirs, but Nantian Ju didn't accept them. I appreciate young hero Qin's kindness, but these elixirs are useless to me. I need to go into seclusion to recuperate for a period of time. Young hero Qin, please protect me. Okay, senior, go into seclusion with peace of mind. I will guard the cave entrance. Nantian Ju entered the cave abode, while Qin Feng went to look for the storage rings of the 3 elders in Tiantong City. The rings were rich in resources. There were billions of spirit stones, all kinds of king elixirs, high-grade spirit herbs, and many materials for refining weapons and setting up arrays. However, these weren't what Qin Feng was looking for. He was looking for the system. Back then, he knew that Tian Ming and the other 3 possessed systems. However, why didn't he see the system after killing Tian Xing and the other 2? Master, the other party might have also inherited the system, so the system disappeared automatically after he died, Little Pig suddenly said. Qin Feng didn't understand. Then why did Hua Xiao's mecha system still exist after he died on Earth? Because that mecha system was a main system, just like the hedonist sovereign system that Master has now. It wasn't obtained through the inheritance of the system, Little Pig said. Qin Feng thought of his greatest opponent on Earth, Ling Jiuqian. When he killed Ling Jiuqian, he also didn't find the system. That Ling Jiuqian inherited the system? First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second, Booksellers Mobile. Chapter 2141. Little Pig said, Ling Jiuqian's system should be inherited. In fact, there are pros and cons to both the main system and the inheritance. The main system is more complete and can develop more functions, but the growth process of the host is also relatively slow. On the other hand, the inheritance is a simplified system, easy to use, and the growth of the system owner will be faster. After Little Pig's explanation, Qin Feng suddenly understood. No wonder Ling Jiuqian was always better than him. The system's level was far ahead, so that guy got the inheritance of the system. Nantian Ju, flying immortal, failed, and his realm regressed. Just like North Sand Continent's Square Tower's Bright Moon Tower Master, he failed to break through to Hollow Spirit Realm, causing his realm to fall. Qin Fan guarded outside the cave abode. He used this free time to cultivate. He had just absorbed the spirit rain and leveled up 3 levels. He needed to stabilize his current realm. 2 months later, a few black figures landed and startled Qin Fan out of his cultivation. Qin Fan originally thought that they were cultivators from his South Flat continent who had come to explore, but when his divine sense swept through the auras of the 6 people, his expression immediately turned solemn. The lowest realm among the 6 was Disaster Transformation State Peak Stage. Even Qin Fan couldn't see through the highest. All 6 of them were unfamiliar faces. They were probably not South Flat Continent cultivators. After the 6 landed, they immediately surrounded Qin Fan. The Disaster Transformation State Peak Stage old man shouted coldly, "Junior, who are you? Why are you here? Where are the 4 elders?" Qin Fan couldn't figure out the other party's identity. Plus, Nantianju was in seclusion, so he couldn't act rashly. I passed by this place and found that there was plenty of spirit chi here, so I took a break. What's the matter? Qin Fan pretended to be confused. The Disaster Transformation State Peak Stage old man wasn't easy to talk to. He yelled with a bad attitude. "How many days have you been resting here? This was originally a bustling Tiantong city. Why has it become so deserted?" Qin Fan suppressed his anger and said, "I already said I passed by this place. I only stayed for 3 days. When I came, this place was already like this. How would I know what happened here before?" The little old man was enraged. "You little ant of the younger generation, this old man is already giving you face by asking you a question, yet you still dare to answer so unwillingly. I think you must be tired of living." The old man was about to attack, but before he could make the first move, a white light flashed. When they came back to their senses, there was a loud explosion. The Disaster Transformation old man died on the spot. What's going on? Was it that kid who killed them? He's just at the late stage of Disaster Transformation. How could he instantly kill junior brother Skysway? The number of Disaster Transformation State cultivators in the South Flat State can be counted on one hand, but this kid looks unfamiliar. He shouldn't be from the South Flat State. Who cares where he came from? Since he dared to kill our junior brother, we'll kill him first. The remaining 5 people were filled with anger, but before they could make a move, the black-robed old man whose realm Qin Fan could not see through said, "Did you destroy this place? You also killed Tianming and the other 3 elders, right?" Qin Fan knew he couldn't avoid this trouble today, so he just said, "I killed the 4 elders of Sky Pass City. Are you their accomplices?" The 5's expression changed drastically. Tianming and the other 3 were Disaster Transformation State to Truth Realization State. Qin Fan was only Disaster Transformation State level 7. How'd he kill a Truth Realization State powerful being? The black-robed old man's voice went cold. "I'm the City Lord of Sky Pass City, Tian Feiyu. Tianming and the other 3 are all my disciples. You dare to kill my people? I'll get revenge for my disciples today." Before they attacked, Qin Fan quickly said, "You guys are also from the Kobe sect, right?" The 5's expression changed. They had been in the South Flat State for a few hundred years, and no one had seen through their identity. "Who are you?" The black-robed old man's killing intent surged. Qin Fan immediately felt the danger of death. He originally wanted to fight the old man head-on, but now he completely gave up on that thought. Who I am isn't important at all. What's important is that I let Nantianju go. Nantianju. Other than anger on their faces, the 5 finally revealed some panic. Nantianju was one of the 12 Supremes of the Divine Supreme continent back then. He had stepped into the true God realm long ago and could ascend to immortality at any time. Even the black-robed old man that Qin Fan couldn't see through wasn't a match for him. "Where's Nantianju?" the black-robed old man asked. "Haven't you guys sensed it? He's behind you." Qin Fan sneered. The 5 immediately broke out in a cold sweat. A true God powerful being standing behind them was no different from a Grim Reaper standing behind them. They immediately used their divine sense to scan the area, but they couldn't find anyone else within a radius of 10 miles. The black-robed old man suddenly woke up and roared furiously. That brat is playing with us. Kill him." As soon as the old man finished speaking, a loud sound was heard. However, it wasn't an attack launched by the five of them. A resplendent white light appeared again and instantly enveloped the sky above the five of them like a waterfall falling from the sky. What sword technique is this? How can the aura be so fierce? The five of them were stunned. The black-robed old man suddenly shouted, "It's not the power of a sword technique, it's the power of a sword. That kid is holding an immortal artifact." The five of them were shocked once again. Immortal artifacts were very rare in the Divine Supreme continent. They didn't expect a young junior to obtain one. The news of the immortal artifact made them forget that they were in the Sea of Swords. When they came to their senses, they immediately circulated their essential vitality to resist. However, the two old men were still sent flying by the ferocious sword aura and vomited blood after falling to the ground. "Little ant, if you leave the immortal artifact behind today, I can consider leaving your corpse intact." Tian Feiyu leaped forward. He was so fast that the naked eye couldn't capture his movements. Even Qin Fun's spiritual sense could see him flickering like a light dot. Suddenly, a dangerous aura surged behind him. Qin Fun didn't even think about it and slashed with his sword. A loud sound reverberated in the air, but Qin Fun's expression changed drastically. His sword slashed through the air, and Tian Feiyu's real attack came from the side. Rumble. The giant essential vitality hand sent Qin Fun flying. After he fell to the ground, the essential vitality in his body was in chaos. He felt as if his entire body was being pricked by needles when he tried to circulate it. Tian Feiyu immediately followed up with his attack. He had no intention of giving Qin Fun a way out. When the giant quintessential essence hand blotted out the sky, Qin Fun felt an unprecedented despair. He immediately wanted to enter the astral world to save his life, but he saw Nan Tianjue fly out of the cave abode. Swoosh! When Qin Fun saw Nan Tianjue's figure, a loud sound came from above Qin Fun almost at the same time. At some point in time, Nan Tianju was floating in the air, holding up the entire sky with one hand. Tian Feiyu's quintessential essence hand seal was easily shattered like a piece of tofu. In the end, his quintessential essence aura dissipated without a trace. "Nan Tianjue, you really escaped." Tian Feiyu's expression changed drastically. When Nan Tianjue saw Tian Feiyu, it was as if he had seen his father's murderer. A majestic aura surged from his body, suffocating Qin Fun. Chapter 2142. Tian Feiyu. An ant like you imprisoned me for hundreds of years. Now that I've finally broken free from the array formation, you'll be my first target. Nan Tianju leaped forward and instantly appeared in front of Tian Feiyu. Before Tian Feiyu could react, he sent him flying with a palm strike. A rain of blood rained down from the sky as Tian Feiyu's body exploded. Nan Tianju immediately clenched his fist, conjuring a giant hand made of quintessential essence in the sky that caught Tian Feiyu's fleeing nascent soul. "Senior Nan Tianju, please spare me. I didn't trap you here. It was King Void God who trapped you here." Tian Feiyu immediately begged bitterly in the face of death. Nan Tianju's emotions fluctuated when he heard the name King Void God. He exerted some force in his palm, and Tian Feiyu's miserable shriek was heard in the sky. "Senior, please spare me. I can take you to King Void God," Tian Feiyu said anxiously. The other four old men stood in the distance, stunned by Nan Tianju's power. Tian Feiyu was their senior brother and a late-stage true form realm expert. However, he could not fight back against Nan Tianju and turned into his infant body in one move. "Do you think I can't find Ling Wanyin? Do I need you to lead the way?" Rumble. With a furious roar, Nan Tianju clenched his fist, and Tian Feiyu's infant body exploded. The four old men were startled and immediately fled on their flying swords. However, they heard four consecutive loud sounds in the sky, and the four of them were instantly destroyed. Qin Fen was dumbfounded as he watched. Even though he had killed a true form expert instantly before, he had done it with a sneak attack and a full-powered attack. He was nothing like Nan Tianjue, who was so calm and composed. Qin Fen was able to kill a true form expert instantly. Young hero Qin, thank you for helping me this time. I've already recovered 30 to 50% of my strength. Nan Tianju smiled amiably at Qin Fen. He looked like a different person from the murderous god just now. Qin Fen's mouth twitched. It turned out that Nan Tianju had only displayed 30 to 50% of his strength. Senior, what realm are you at now? Qin Fen was curious. Nan Tianju did not hide anything. I reached the peak stage of true god a long time ago and should have ascended to the immortal world. However, I haven't ascended because of Ling Wanyan. Qin Fen's expression changed slightly. Ling Wanyan is King Void God. Exactly, Nan Tianjue said. Qin Fen couldn't help but think of Ling Jiutian. Ling Jiutian had the same surname as Ling Wanyan, and he had inherited the system. This was obviously not a coincidence. It meant that Ling Jiutian was also a member of the Kobe Triad. But the Kobe clan was a force of the Eastfield continent, so why would Ling Jiutian appear on Earth? Young hero Qin, I still have something to do. You saved me this time, and I promise to do one thing for you. If young hero Qin has already thought about it, you could just say it. If you haven't, then I can only take my leave first. I will repay young hero Qin's kindness in the future, Nan Tianjue said. Qin Fen came back to his senses. Senior, I want you to help me find the 12 Supremes. 12 Supremes? What do you want to do? Nan Tianjue's expression changed slightly. I plan to lead everyone to Kobe Gate and kill King Virtual God, Qin Fen said solemnly. Nan Tianjue revealed a look of disbelief. Now that King Virtual God was famous and was known as the #1 martial artist in the Divine Continent, all forces avoided Kobe Gate. Who dare to find trouble with them? Young hero Qin, you're not Ling Wanyan's opponent. I advise you to give up on the idea of fighting him. His strength is far more terrifying than you think, Nan Tianjue advised. Qin Fen's expression was firm. If we gather the 12 Supremes, will our chances be high? Nan Tianjue was surprised by Qin Fen's idea. He didn't know what kind of grudge Qin Fen had with Ling Wanyan that made Qin Fen want to find the 12 Supremes to deal with Ling Wanyan. But Nan Tianjue knew that this method wouldn't work because the 12 Supremes had long gone missing. Young hero Qin, the 12 Supremes had the same experience as me. They were framed by Ling Wanyan. Now, we don't know if the others are alive or dead. There has been no news of them for a long time. It's impossible to find them, Qin Fen said. Senior Nan Tianjue, I have seen Shin Qijuan and He Xuan. They are still alive. What? You saw those too? Where did you see them? Nan Tianjue was shocked. Qin Fen told him the truth. When Nan Tianjue heard it, he was even more surprised. Young hero Qin, are you the one who is going through the tribulation? Every time I break through, I will trigger a fatal lightning tribulation. The identity of the person who is going through the tribulation should be real, Qin Fen said. Nan Tianjue nodded. To be able to trigger a fatal lightning tribulation, it must be the Divine Lord who is going through the tribulation. Now that the tribulation that happens once in 1,000 years has arrived, according to what young hero Qin said, the new tribulation is very likely to be the flying immortal tribulation. If we don't eradicate the Kobe faction as soon as possible, the cultivators of the Divine Continent will never be able to ascend to the flying immortal realm. Qin Fen cupped his fists and said, That's why I sincerely ask Senior to find the 12 Supremes. When everyone is gathered, we should have a chance to fight the Kobe faction together. Good. I will do my best to handle this matter. After half a year, we will meet at the Eastfield Continent Spirit Breath City. At that time, regardless of whether the 12 Supremes are gathered or not, I will meet young hero Qin there, Nan Tianjue said. Qin Fen nodded. He had originally planned to find the 12 Supremes by himself. Now that he had Nan Tianjue's help, he could use this half a year to break through. It should be known that his disaster transformation stage 7 cultivation level was not worth mentioning in front of the Kobe faction. Nan Tianjue also saw this problem. Before he left, he suggested, "Young hero Qin, your cultivation level is slightly lower. You can go to the Eastfield Continent's Divine Herb Valley to break through first. If the opportunity is good, it won't be a problem for you to step into the true form realm." After the two of them said goodbye, Qin Fen didn't rush to the Eastfield Continent. He first went to visit Xian Hai, who was in the 80-mile city. Xian Hai was the one who helped him escape from the Sword Realm. After that, Qin Fen went to Gray Island, mainly to see Qi Longxing of the 3 Northern Ring Islands. Back then, when Hai Qiji and the others chased after Qin Fen, it was Qi Longxing who brought him to the 3 Northern Ring Islands to temporarily avoid danger. When Qin Fen came to Green Island again, the situation there had changed drastically. There was smoke everywhere on the 3 Northern Islands. There was a huge battle going on, and many demon cultivators were running for their lives. Qin Fen stopped a random demon cultivator and asked what happened here. The demon cultivator was in a hurry to escape and didn't want to answer Qin Fen's question. However, he sensed that Qin Fen's aura was boundless, and he couldn't see through it at all. He could only bite the bullet and say, "Senior, a month ago, the 3 Northern Islands were attacked by the Nanming Palace. Now, more than half of the islands are occupied by the Nanming Palace cultivators. The local demon cultivators of the 3 Northern Islands are either dead or have escaped. I advise you to take a detour and not pass through this war zone." The demon cultivator saw that Qin Fen was a human cultivator and thought that he was passing by. Qin Fen's expression became serious, and he continued to ask, "The 3 Northern Islands are not weaker than the Nanming Palace. Why can't they defend their own territory?" Chapter 2143. The Beast Cultivator said, "This time, Nanming Palace came prepared. They joined forces with the Myriad Formation sect to attack the 3 Northern Islands. We were caught off guard and lost momentum as soon as the battle started." The Beast Cultivator hesitated for a moment and continued, "And the main reason why this battle ended in failure was because there was a traitor." Qin Fen raised his eyebrows. "Who's the traitor? Even if I tell you, you might not know. I advise you to leave this place quickly. I also need to run for my life. Otherwise, if the cultivators of Nanming Palace and the Myriad Formation sect catch up, I'll be dead. This time, the enemy is ruthless. They said that they would kill all the beast cultivators in the 3 Northern Islands." The beast cultivator was a little anxious. Qin Fen's face turned cold, and violent true essence surged out of his body. "Qi Longxing of the 3 Northern Islands is my friend. I won't sit back and do nothing. You don't have to worry about the enemy catching up. No matter how many of them come, I'll make sure they won't be able to return. Just answer my questions." The beast cultivator trembled in fear. He had never felt such a powerful true essence from Qin Fen. It was even stronger than the aura of the Black Snake King, the island master of the 3 Northern Islands. "Senior, please calm down. I'm willing to tell you everything I know. It was Ba Ji who betrayed us. He worked with the beast cultivators of Nanming Palace and the human cultivators of the Myriad Formation sect to the point where the 3 Northern Islands couldn't fight back." Qin Fen's expression changed slightly. "Ba Ji, if I remember correctly, he's the 3rd son of the Black Snake King, right? Why would he betray us? How could I dare to lie to you, Senior? It was really Ba Ji who betrayed us. In fact, the relationship between family members of beast cultivators isn't as close as that of human cultivators. This kind of family betrayal happens from time to time," the beast cultivator said. Qin Fen roughly understood the situation. In fact, when he first came to the 3 Northern Islands, he discovered that there was a void formation on the bridge that connected the 3 islands. The formation was hidden, and when it was activated, it would temporarily seal the bridge's teleportation function. Later, Qin Fen helped Qi Longxing change the teleportation formation and told him that if anything happened to the 3 Northern Islands, he could use the teleportation formation on the bridge to escape. "Where is Qi Longxing? Is he still alive?" Qin Fen was a little nervous. The demon cultivator said, "Senior, I'm not sure about that. Right now, the 3 Northern Islands are littered with corpses. Everyone is only concerned about running for their lives. Who would have the time to care about the lives of others? But I know that the Black Snake King has fallen. This time, the 3 northern islands have completely collapsed. Qin Feng sighed inwardly. Although there were cases of sons killing their fathers on Earth, they were extremely rare. If you want to live, then follow me. Qin Feng had already left on his sword, heading towards the interior of the 3 northern ring islands. That demon cultivator was hesitant. He'd escaped from the pile of death with great difficulty. So wouldn't he be courting death for nothing if he returned? However, after some hesitation, the demonic cultivator quickly followed Qin Feng. For some reason, he had a strong feeling that only by following Qin Feng would he be able to survive. It was just as the demonic cultivator had said. The flames of war raged on the 3 northern islands, and it was a scene of ruins. The heavenly bridges that originally led to the 3 islands were sealed by formations, and the 3 islands became isolated existences. The demonic cultivators on the islands could not go to other islands at all, and could only wait for death on the islands. When Qin Feng first came here, he was only a level 6 formation grandmaster, but now he was a level 8 formation immortal. With just a glance, the void formation on the heavenly bridge appeared, and the formation's eyes were exposed to Qin Feng. He waved his hand, and countless formation flags fell like heavenly maidens scattering flowers. The following demonic cultivator was dumbfounded. When those formation flags fell on the heavenly bridge, a wall of light appeared, and the 3 islands were reconnected. The heavenly bridge is open. Great. Everyone, hurry up and escape to the heavenly bridge. We can't escape. Now that the heavenly bridge is open, all the demonic cultivators on the 3 northern islands are heading to the first island. Let's fight to the death with those bastards from the Nanming Temple. The demonic cultivators on the 3 islands soon discovered the situation, and the battle became even more intense. Several black shadows floated in the air, and unknowingly, they had already surrounded Qin Feng and that demonic cultivator. Stinking brat, are you the one causing trouble on the heavenly bridge? I think you're tired of living. There's a human cultivator here. Why isn't he wearing the uniform of the Thousand Formation sect? Who is he? It's you, brat. How dare you come to the 3 northern islands? Today, I will take your dog life. The demonic cultivators surrounding them were all from the Nanming Temple, but someone recognized Qin Feng. It was the Black Snake King's 3rd son, Bajua. Qin Feng also recognized Bajua. When he saw Bajua's cultivation, he couldn't help but sigh. This demonic cultivator's cultivation speed was indeed much faster than human cultivators. When Qin Feng met Bajua, he was only a Nihility God Realm level 6, but now he had already stepped into the early stage of the body condensation realm. Your Highness Bajua, who is this? The demonic cultivator from the Nanming Temple asked. He's a friend of my idiot younger brother. I wanted to kill him back then, but he escaped, Bajua said. The demonic cultivator who followed Qin Feng suddenly became angry. Bajua, you are worse than a beast. How dare you betray the Black Snake King and betray your own clan? You will be struck by lightning. Bajua's face turned cold. Who do you think you are? How dare you criticize my decision? The Divine Supreme Continent is a place where only the strong are respected. What bullshit about family and bloodline? Father only has himself to blame. I have long advised him to join forces with the Nanming Temple to annex the East Dragon Palace, but he insisted that a 3-legged balance is the most reasonable structure for Tsang Island. That old man has already lost the ambition that a demonic cultivator should have. If he continues to lead the 3 northern islands, everyone will be devoured sooner or later. It's better for me to start this battle to move towards the light. When the battle is over, I will lead the 3 northern islands back to glory. People like you won't succeed. You will be struck by lightning sooner or later, the demonic cultivator said angrily. Bajua's patience ran out. He suddenly slapped the demonic cultivator. Being struck by lightning is just the words of the weak to comfort themselves. I want to see whether you will die or I will be struck by lightning. Rumble. A bolt of lightning struck down from the sky. The true essence brought by Bourgeois' palm was instantly shattered. The lightning bolt was as thick as a person's waist. It fell on top of Bourgeois' head and turned him into ashes in the blink of an eye. You want to be struck by lightning? I can fulfill your wish. Qin Fen's cold voice floated out. The crowd was shocked. The demonic cultivator's eyes widened to the ground. He suddenly felt ecstatic. He realized that following Qin Fen was the right choice. Ant-like human, how dare you behave atrociously in Song Island? Attack together. The demonic cultivators of the Nanming Temple quickly came to their senses. More than 10 of them attacked Qin Fen at the same time. Blade lights and sword shadows filled the void. When the powerful, true essence condensed, it seemed to form an aura that could destroy heaven and earth. First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second. Booksellers mobile that you're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.